A 7-run seventh inning. Cubs crushed the Dodgers 11-5. Max Kepler walked with the bases loaded. The top of the 13th, forcing the go-ahead run. Twins outlast the White Sox 2-1 in Chicago. Sky hit the road to take on the Liberty tonight. Fire welcome New York FC to Toyota Park tomorrow, and the LPGA Championship continues at Kemper Lakes in Kildare. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America Take Steps Walk program is dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Find a walk site near you. Visit www.cctakesteps.org. It's 5:07. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, home of the Kane County Cougars. Don't miss this year's lineup featuring Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, The Voices, and Ryan Weaver. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you, the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Freak yeah, Jimmy John's.
Freak yeah, what if I just needed one sandwich delivered?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
What about 100 sandwiches?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
What about 24 sandwiches?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
67 sandwiches?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
You know, 67's a prime number.
Freak yeah, a whole number greater than one whose only factors are one in itself, I know.
Great. I'll take one turkey tom, please.
Freak yeah, one turkey tom, on the way.
Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah!
Do you manage a manufacturing operation that includes Allen Bradley controls that have been phased out? Innovative Control, Inc., a 25-year-old control system integrator located in Chicagoland, understands that converting to new platforms is expensive, and in many cases, a minimal return on the investment. ICI works with their customers to help find justification for these projects, adding functions for equipment efficiency calculations, real-time material consumption and tracking, the Internet of Things, and connectivity with your business system can contribute to your ROI. As part of the process, network security is a cornerstone to help protect your physical and intellectual property. ICI will meet with you and your team to understand your operations and current control system. From this review, they identify additional functions that can offset the costs, creating a return on the investment. For your company's review, contact Dave Stock at 815-529-2915 or visit ICI560.com. That's Dave Stock at 815-529-2915 or online at ICI560.com.
5:10. Let's get an update on where the cars are moving this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim Talamonte, here is Dominic Fortini.
Good morning, Mike. In Naperville, Route 59 shut down both directions between 95th and 87th because of an overnight crash. Crews working to clear that in time for the morning rush. But our area expressways look good. Edens, Kennedy, Eisenhower, Stevenson, and the Dan Ryan all moving at the posted speeds. I-57, Bishop Ford, Lakeshore Drive look good. Northbound side of the tri-state, you've got that road construction blocking the right lane from the O'Hare Oasis into Lawrence. Everything else looks good. Traffic's a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Brian May.
Hot and humid today with sunshine, high 95. Tonight, clear, warm, and humid, low 80. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, humid with a high of 97. Sunday, clouds and sun with showers and a thunderstorm, high 88. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
Gotta love this time of year. Sunrise already. Sunrise at 73 at O'Hare and 69 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and we start the show this morning with another horrific shooting incident. This in Annapolis, Maryland, where 5 staff members, editors, reporters for a local Maryland newspaper,
a sales associate,
the newspaper, the Capital Gazette, were shot by an individual who apparently had sort of a vendetta against the paper for reporting on his previous stalking.
Yeah, in 2010, he filed a defamation of character suit because they reported, he stalked his high school girlfriend, apparently via the internet. And he was charged, and they did a story on it, and he had sent them letters. He was saying that he was upset. He didn't think it was a story. He put on social media things about the Gazette that he's going to get them, and then he acted on it.
The weapon used, because of course that becomes part of the discussion in these cases, a shotgun.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I think it was Anderson. Somebody on CNN last night. No, Don Lemon said it would have been so much worse if it was a semi-automatic.
Yeah, that's the
but
real.
We're lucky it was a shotgun.
That's the real focus, is how much worse it could have been if he would have had nuclear weapons rather than what actually he did. The evil, not the instrumentality of it. Also, too, just in terms of the reporting on this, I mean, it's just so irresponsible. This is the Associated Press. The shooting came amid months of verbal and online attacks on the quote-unquote fake news media from politicians and others from Donald Trump on down. What does that have to do with this shooting? Nothing.
Well, because President Trump has said in the past, he's made derogatory comments about the press because he doesn't think the press is on his side.
I know what the president has said. I'm sorry. The question was, what does that have to do with this shooting?
Because it was a newsroom, and it was, according to many, the deadliest attack on a newsroom in American history.
So I'm still not getting the connection. Perhaps somebody can help us. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The shooting came amid months of verbal and online attacks on the fake news media from politicians and others from Donald Trump on down. We understand from police that the motive was the newspapers reporting on the shooter. It had nothing to do with politics, much less the president. So explain to me again why that leads the second graph in the AP story.
Because one time President Trump called the press the enemy of the people. And so reporters feel like they're under attack by President Trump at all time. And then when he landed yesterday from Wisconsin and was walking back into the White House, they tried to talk to him about it.
This was a targeted attack.
That's not it.
Any words about the dead in Annapolis? Mr. President, he's comment on the shooting. Mr. President, can you react to the shooting in Annapolis? The Annapolis shooting, sir. About the dead reporters in Annapolis. Mr. President, why will you keep talking about enemies of the people? For the families, Mr. President. Why are you walking away? Why won't you come and talk to us about that?
So clearly there's a adversarial relationship between the press and President Trump. They thought that he'd stop and talk because when normally there's a mass shooting, he stops and he speaks with reporters.
There should be an adversarial relationship between the president and the press, between every politician and the press, because the fourth estate is supposed to be the watchman of the other three estates, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It should be adversarial.
Right, but at other mass shootings, he has stopped and spoken with the press.
I'm
and
sure
this one would involve an editor, a staff writer from a newspaper. He walked back into the White House.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that I understand where the reporters are coming from.
Where are they coming from?
They're coming from a place of fear and being attacked by people that are deranged individuals in America who may listen to this hatred, who may read the hatred on social media and want to attack the press.
The hatred from who?
From President Trump.
So
and then the AP, they're pea hat wearers for not saying the truth. Just say from President Trump, not other politicians.
Okay, so you want to walk down this path. So let me understand what you're saying. You're saying that President Trump's hatred of the press is a proximate cause, or there's a correlation between that and the shooting in Maryland?
It could have inspired him to do it, yes. Granted, he had a beef with this paper long before President Trump became president, but it could have inspired him to do it. And I know I'm going to get eviscerated by even saying that, but that was my gut feeling. I'm like, oh, great. It's just the world we live in. There's so much hatred. There's so much bad with this, and he's bad, and fake news, and they're hacks, and blah, blah, blah. These people at the Gazette, they didn't make a lot of money. They're just trying to do their job.
Well, nobody has suggested otherwise. So what?
And there's some survivors who have some real nice words to say.
I was working at my desk when I heard the shots, and it took a couple of them for me to realize what was happening. And I looked at Anthony, the intern, and I said, I'm getting out of here. And I grabbed my purse and I went to the back door, which I was only a couple steps away from. It was locked. What happened here was very calculated. I reported on Pulse. When Pulse happened, I went to school in Florida, and I remember being so upset hearing about the victims who were texting their families. And there I was, sitting under a desk, texting my parents, telling them that I loved them. And I just don't know what I want right now. Our whole lives have been shattered. And so thanks for your prayers, but I couldn't give a about them if there's nothing else.
I couldn't give an F about your prayers.
I don't know, whatever. A Twitter account matching the shooter's name with the location of Laurel, Maryland. Years of tweets railing against Capital Gazette, and includes details of a years-long legal dispute with the company. Did we have this conversation when that cameraman and reporter were killed on the air by a shooter, and people wanted to blame Trump?
That was me.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to blame Trump for some kind of culture that he had created. This was very early on, because he and the press and much of the D.C. press corps have an antagonistic relationship, and in most cases, legitimately so from his perspective. The idea that Trump somehow needs to be shoehorned into this as a relevant part of some causal or correlative link baffles me. It's just people's intuition. Yeah, there's a lot of hatred in the world, there's no question. Should we factor Trump into the Pulse nightclub shooting, since that was just brought up? I mean, there's hatred in the world. Trump has an adversarial relationship with the press. It had nothing to do with the shooter's motive in the Pulse nightclub massacre. But should we fold him into every shooting? Parkland? Trump? Aurora, Colorado? Trump?
No.
I mean, why don't we go back to even before he was president, if we're just going to intuit these matters? Debbie in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. For once, I thought they're not going to blame the gun, but of course they're going to blame Trump. This guy's previous history and patterns have nothing to do with it. We're going to go right in and blame our president. I'm disgusted. Amy, geez, I don't know where your head is at, and that's all I have to say. Have a nice day, guys.
All right.
President Trump did tweet, prior to departing Wisconsin, I was briefed on the shooting at Capital Gazette in Annapolis, Maryland. My thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. Thank you to all the first responders who are currently on the scene.
Boy, that is some vicious hatred.
No.
That is.
Well, I'm saying the reporters that were asking for a comment, there's your comment.
Yeah.
And by the way, first responders took less than a minute to get there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And they just had shooter training drills, mass shooter training drills the day before.
Verlon on the south side.
Amy, you stole some of my thunder, but I got more light than the go. Now listen, that's exactly the point, Amy, what you just said. He had a beef with this place. Nothing was political. It goes back 7 years. 7 years that has nothing to do with Donald Trump, okay? So this is just how disingenuous the news media, the left-wing news media is. And I got another point to make. Good job to the police. The same people that the left-wing media, social media, and TV media deems the new Ku Klux Klan. This is the reason why black people are getting killed by the police, because they call them the Klan. They call these killings, these shootings, the new lynchings. I don't know if you all will ever touch this issue, these issues again that's going on, but that's the reason why the black young people are running and getting killed, because of the media. I'm convinced of it now. The media, the left-wing media is evil. They just want to make Trump the devil, and they'll do anything that they can to demonize Trump and to demonize the police. That's my new idea.
All right, thanks for the call, Verlon.
There was also explosive devices found in there.
Well, a smoke grenade.
Yeah. But he also was not carrying ID with him, and he's not cooperating with police. Let's just say that.
Tony on the south side.
Hey, good morning, Dan, Amy. You know what? I gotta side with my cultural warrior, Dan Proft. Amy, I love you. Listen, I get it. At one time, you were a media darling, and a darling you are, my lammy lamb. However, slow your roll. I never heard my own personal tangerine Jesus ever say, kill the media. Come on now, seriously. Let's back off this a little bit, huh? And now when you hear stuff like what the AP had said about this, you can understand why Trump does call them the fake news. They're making up crap. This is ridiculous. Have a nice day now and a good weekend. Happy Independence Day.
Thanks for the call,
Thanks,
Tony.
Tony.
Appreciate that. Oh, yeah, we should also...
I don't want to upset Tony yet.
Yeah. I know, you're his lammy lamb.
That's the greatest nickname ever.
The shooter also tried to he did damage to his fingertips, ostensibly trying to remove the possibility of identifying by fingerprints.
Yeah,
So
ABC News has debunked that, but they had to use
that was
facial.
what reported.
Right, it was initially reported, but they learned that was a miscommunication. But they had to resort to facial recognition to confirm his identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the worst episode of Criminal Minds ever.
Yeah.
Chris in Aurora.
All right, once again, Amy, you're pulling a page right out of Obama and Rahm Emanuel's playbook, where instead of waiting for the facts to come out, instead of looking exactly what the situation was, where the person might have been mentally ill, you're going to immediately jump on whoever you can to put the blame on them. And in most cases with Obama, and against the police. And in this case, now you're going to throw this all in Trump's lap. So my challenge is to you, let's wait a few days. And when we find out next week that he's on some kind of, drugs for mental disorder, then you come back and you actually issue an apology and say that, you know what, this wasn't Trump's fault. This was something completely different.
Thanks, Chris. Dan in Libertyville.
Dan, I think you need to be careful because, if anything happens to an Illinois legislator or Mike Madigan, sort of thing, because you have spoken so ill of those people down in Springfield that Amy's going to say, Dan, it's your fault they got hurt.
I've created a culture of hate. Yes.
No, all you
hate
wanted
for
you better be
tax
careful.
increases.
You'll be responsible.
Yeah.
All you wanted to do was get the tiny politicians, the tiny houses, to live in.
Yeah. Is that so wrong? Greg and Schaumburg.
2 points. The sooner everybody adopts Dan Proft's totally correct, objectively metaphysical point of view that there's evil in the world, and sometimes there's no other cause except evil, the better off we're going to be. And as to the notion, and Amy, you can be my lammy lamb too.
Oh, boy.
But anyway,
a lot of
as
offers.
to the notion that the news media is doing their job, it's interesting. Hannity made the comment yesterday that he's actually worried about getting subpoenaed and whatever might happen to him in view of all of the correspondence he's had with people. In other words, he's assuming that he's under surveillance right now. So the news media hasn't done their job at all, period. And the only one is Sean And to defend the news media right now, forget it.
The only one who's doing his job is Sean Hannity? I don't think so. But thanks for the call, Greg. Greg's calls, I feel like we should be in one of those salt caves.
Yes.
My
Oh, and the
objective
Grange,
metaphysical point. Thank you, Greg, very much.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
Oh, heartburn!
one man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength. I'm on my way. Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on the go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Hey, we know replacing your roof is a big deal and a big decision. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. We would love to do your roof. Why choose Crumweedy to do your roof or roof repairs?
It's all about installation. Our guys are pros. When we install your roof, you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that's up to manufacturer specifications. So your warranty is intact. You'll be happy.
Cost. We give you a good, better, best option. You choose. No high pressure.
We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you.
We do business the right way. We have a special offer that includes free gutters with a new roof. Ask about it. When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Your business's finances are very personal. It's the determining factor on the course you'll take for your family and your employees. But what happens when you're reaching a phase when you need advice? You want to turn to an expert, but who can you trust? Look for someone who is both knowledgeable and involved in the community, like Fred O'Connor of Northwestern Mutual. Fred has worked from Wall Street to Europe in the financial industry, but his calling as an engaged civic leader speaks to the earnest trust Fred has gained over his 30 years serving businesses and the families that run them. Fred serves on the board of the 100 Club of Chicago, the Big Shoulders Fund, and the Irish Fellowship Club. Fred can help you manage risk and plan for your goals, such as rewarding key people and strategies for business exit. Visit FredO'Connor.com to learn more about Fred's services and how he can take your business to the next level. That's FredO'Connor.com. Northwestern Mutual is the marketing name for the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Fred O'Connor is an insurance agent of NM.
This Sunday, NASCAR returns to NBCSN with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of changes over the years. The cars have changed. The faces have changed. What I love seeing the most is all the stuff that stays true through it all. You still got the up-and-comers, the hard chargers, Kevin Harvick, and the best dang way to spend a Sunday. Oh yeah, and you still got me to deal with every week.
Live from Chicagoland, Sunday 2:30 Eastern on NBCSN.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Call 800-523-3493. That's 800-523-3493. Again, 800-523-3493.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trey Gowdy and Jim Jordan tag team Rod Rosenstein at 5:38.
And you may not like John McCain, but you should love his daughter after what she did on The View yesterday. You have got to hear it. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Dangerous heat hitting Chicagoland today. 72, very humid already this morning. National Weather Service says temps could soar into the mid-90s. Heat index values as high as 115. Police in Annapolis, Maryland are still looking into an exact motive for yesterday's deadly shooting at the offices of the Capital Gazette newspaper.
He entered the building with a shotgun, and he looked for his victims as he walked through the lower level.
The gunman in custody has been identified as 38-year-old Jared Ramos. Social media accounts associated with him show a long history of disputes with that newspaper. The White House is out with a strong condemnation of the mass shooting that killed 5 at the Capital Gazette. Meantime, on Capitol Hill, Republicans continue pushing Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein hard on sensitive documents in the Russia investigation. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan.
I want to know why you won't give us what we've asked for.
That is not accurate, sir. And
it is accurate. We have caught you hiding
Mr. Chairman, can we allow the witness to answer? Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Why are you keeping information from Congress?
Congressman, I am not keeping any information from Congress.
Rosenstein saying the Justice Department is trying to do its best. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi says Democrats are willing to work with Republicans on crafting meaningful immigration reform.
Democrats know full well what our responsibility is to protect our borders, to protect and defend the Constitution and the American people. We do not think that protecting our border means putting children in cages.
President Trump often accuses Democrats of not being willing to negotiate on immigration. Meantime, the First Lady has made another stop at the southern border, Melania Trump visiting immigrant children at a shelter in McAllen, Texas. President Trump says the U.S. is open for business again.
We've created 3.4 million jobs since the election, including over 300,000 manufacturing jobs, the highest percentage of happiness by manufacturers.
Speaking at the Foxconn technology site in Wisconsin, President saying there's no better place to hire and grow than the U.S. Reverend Michael Pfleger is refusing to call off a peace march to the Dan Ryan Expressway next month, in spite of pleas from the Chicago Police Department. First Deputy Anthony Riccio implored the Southside pastor to abandon plans of trying to shut down the Dan Ryan on July 7th. Pfleger rejected the police department request. Authorities believe they may have found the vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash last weekend, southwest suburban Oswego, that killed a local high school softball coach. Kendall County sheriffs tell us they have found that 2006 Chrysler Pacifica. The investigation launched after Amanda Stanton was found dead Sunday near Plainfield Road and Plainsman Court. An Illinois Commerce Commission judge is expected to rule in a matter of weeks on whether to pull the state license of a troubled Chicago towing company. Lawyers for Lincoln Towing and the ICC delivered closing arguments this week during testimony. Lincoln Towing has recently received several more citations for allegedly towing cars illegally. The next hearing date is set for July 10. Cubs beat the Dodgers 11-5. Was the Twins over the White Sox in 13, 2-1. A 6-under-66 by Sung-Young Park leads the Women's PGA Championship at Kemper Lakes in Killdeer. 3 others are one shot back, and Oregon State is your champion. College baseball shutting out Arkansas last night in the deciding game of the College World Series, 5-0. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving for victims of drunk and drug driving. Their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or MADD.org. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a win for the Republicans in November if we take some advice.
With this new era of confrontation that seems justified by a lot of people on the left. Here's what I'm concerned about. I'll be very blunt. I don't want us to be like them. As long as we're not like them, we're going to beat them where it counts, and that's on November 6th.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Smokers, are you one of the millions of people who want to quit smoking because of health problems, expenses, or maybe you're just tired of the smell of smoke on your clothes and breath? Transform your life now with new Sig-Free Smart Band. Cig-Free is an automated wearable smart band for smokers who want an all-natural, healthy, and affordable non-nicotine, non-invasive solution to quitting. Cig-Free is a technology-driven solution, freeing you from the dangers of smoking without doctor's exams or the side effects of drugs and nicotine replacement products. Just wear Cig-Free, answer your phone, and listen to your self-help messages. Your friends and family will love you for it, and they'll smell the difference. Become Cig-Free, and you can tell everyone, I morphed from a smoker to a healthier non-smoker.
For more information, go to imorphed.com. That's imorphed.com. imorphed.com. imorphed.com.
.537. Check of the roads. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
In Naperville, northbound Route 59 shut down 95th to 87th to investigate an overnight crash. On the outbound side of the ice, now we got a stalled van right near First Avenue. It's 30 minutes from the post office to Thorndale. We got some issues on the inbound Ryan. Police activity on the ramp to the outbound Ike. A report of a person in the road. Inbound Ryan at 20 minutes, 95th into downtown, while the inbound Bishop Ford gets a little bit slow right near 111. Traffic's a service of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Wishing you were on a big adventure instead of stuck in a little traffic on July 6th. Join Ant-Man and the Wasp for the biggest movie of the summer, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Temperatures near the record of 97 that was set back in 1954. Humid with sunshine today. Heat indexes could soar over 109. We'll top out at 96. Warm and humid, 80 overnight. High of 97 tomorrow. Currently 73. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. More info online at sjnma.org.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Freedom of speech. Thank you, Supreme Court. You made that important again this week. We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And yesterday, before the House Judiciary Committee, were FBI Director Christopher Wray and Deputy Attorney General Nathan Thurm, a.k.a. Rod Rosenstein.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, Nathan Thurm. Yeah.
Remember Nathan Thurm, the old Martin Short
Remind
character?
me. Yeah.
Why would I feel any remorse? Since when is it wrong to do your job? I don't understand.
Well, people were blacklisted. They were denied a right to make a living.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
I think they were.
Of course they were.
I know that. You don't think I know that? I was on the committee. I would know that. Can you believe how boring he is?
And that
Wow.
was sort of an approximation of the exchange between Jim Jordan and Rod Rosenstein. Jim Jordan wants those documents.
And he wants them now.
And Rod Rosenstein says, I know you want those documents. You don't think I know that? Of course I know that.
What's wrong with you?
I'm not being
Hello?
defensive. You're being defensive. It's him, right?
Mr. Rosenstein, why are you keeping information from Congress?
Congressman, I am not keeping any information from Congress that it's appropriate.
In a few minutes, Mr. Rosenstein, I think the House of Representatives is going to say something different.
I don't agree with you, Congressman. I don't believe that's what they're going to say, and if they do, they'll
I
be mistaken.
disagree, but I
They will
think
be mistaken.
in a few minutes the House of Representatives is going to go on record saying you haven't complied with requests from a separate and equal branch of government, that you haven't complied with subpoenas, and you got 7 days to get your act together. I think that's what's going to happen in a few. And that's not Jim Jordan. I think that's a majority of the House of Representatives. In just a few minutes, I think that's going to happen. And I want to know why you won't give us what we've asked for.
Sir, I certainly hope that your colleagues are not under that impression. That is not accurate, sir. And
It is accurate. We have caught you hiding
Mr.
information,
Chairman, can we
Mr.
allow the witness to
Rosenstein.
answer?
And that went back and forth for a bit. And then Jordan provided a specific example of something that he contends Rod Rosenstein is an example of Rod Rosenstein hiding information from them. And it's the connection between Judge Contreras, the FISA court judge who issued the warrant, the surveillance warrant, and his friendship with Peter Strzok, and why that was redacted in documents provided Congress.
Why did you hide the fact that Peter Strzok and Judge Contreras were friends? Why did you redact that in the documents you gave to us? Judge Contreras is kind of important. FISA court judge, more importantly, just as importantly, the judge that heard Mike Flynn's case. Why did you try to hide that from us?
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to respond. I've heard you make those sort of allegations publicly on TV.
I got
and if you
it
let
right
me
here.
respond, sir.
Mr. Chairman, he should be given
Right
the
here.
opportunity.
No, Mr.
Please,
Jordan.
Mr. Chairman.
It's redacted.
I am the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Okay? I'm not the person doing the redacting. I'm responsible for responding to your concerns as I have. I have a team with me, sir. It's just a fraction of the team that's doing this work, and whenever you brought issues to my attention, I have taken appropriate steps to remedy them. So your statement that I'm personally keeping information from you, trying to conceal information
You're
from
the
the
boss,
American
Mr.
people, is not
Rosenstein.
true. That's correct. And my job is to make sure that we respond to your concerns. We have, sir.
So Rosenstein is essentially saying that Department of Justice has complied or is in the process of complying with congressional requests. And obviously Jim Jordan, and we'll hear from Trey Gowdy in a moment, do not feel the same. Rod Rosenstein, though, was as close as he gets to high dudgeon with respect to this exchange.
Your use of this to attack me personally
Why did you?
is
It's not
deeply
a
wrong.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. May the witness be permitted to answer the question?
It's not personal.
Your use of this to attack me personally. Well, he's talking. I mean, I guess he's attacking him personally in the sense that he's questioning his
judgment, right?
and professional conduct. But it's pretty focused on his professional conduct. I don't know that it's personal. Rosenstein ended this 7-minute exchange between the two with this declaration.
Jordan, the truth is, we have a team of folks. They're Trump appointees and career folks, and they're doing their best to produce these documents. Director Wray explained to you the process. He's got hundreds of people working around the clock trying to satisfy these requests. So whether you vote or not is not going to affect it. You're going to get everything that's relevant that we can find and produce to you. I support this report, sir. I'm not trying to hide anything from you.
Do you believe Rod Rosenstein's not trying to hide anything? They're acting in advance of full compliance with all relevant information per congressional requests. Do you believe Rod Rosenstein, should we give him and the Department of Justice and the FBI more bandwidth in this case? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. After all, it's only been a year since these congressional subpoenas for documents were issued.
And then CNN this morning saying, well, Jim Jordan, it took him 2.5 years to complete the Benghazi investigation, so a year is not that much time. But I liked what Trey Gowdy had to say. The new Trey Gowdy. Now, he shaved his beard, and he had a tousled hair. Did you see it? He's on a roll here. He's free, like, because he knows that he's leaving soon, and he doesn't care.
He could be on like one of those like One Tree Hill or something.
Yeah.
He could be on that with that kind of messed up. But he's like a kid on the scene, like he's one of the cool kids at the local community college.
Wow, it's a good look.
If you have evidence of wrongdoing by any member of the Trump campaign, present it to the damn grand jury.
Yeah.
If you have evidence that this president acted inappropriately, present it to the American people. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up.
Chop, chop, Attorney General Rosenstein, Deputy Attorney General, but whatever. Gowdy also, I guess, from Rosenstein's perspective, since he takes this stuff so personally, went after Rosenstein personally, meaning professionally, with respect to what we now know from those DOJ Inspector General reports on the bias that has influenced this investigation from the outset.
He was talking about impeachment within 3 days of Special Counsel Mueller being appointed. 3 days. That's even quicker than MSNBC and the Democrats were talking about impeaching him. Within 3 days,
Peter Strzok,
the lead FBI agent is talking about impeaching the president. We're a year and a half into the presidency. We're over a year into special counsel. You have a counterintelligence investigation that's become public. You have a criminal investigation that's become political. You have more bias than I have ever seen manifest in a law enforcement officer in the 20 years I used to do it for a living. And 4 other DOJ employees who had manifest animus towards the person they were supposed to be neutrally and detachedly investigating. Democrats are using this investigation as a presumption of guilt, which I find astonishing. And in the long run, for the health of this republic, I would encourage them to go back to the presumption of innocence that we used to hold sacred. There's a presumption of guilt. There's a desire by Democrat senators to fundraise off of your investigation. More than 60 Democrats have already voted to proceed with impeachment before Bob Mueller has found a single solitary damn thing.
So Trey Gowdy's a little exercise. I think he's rightly so, and I think he's also he's ratcheted up the volume because he was a guy that was defending these institutions, these agencies, and their leadership for a long time. Give them bandwidth, let them do their jobs, let's see what they find. But, you got something, then prove it the hell up. Candace in DuPage.
Hi, good morning. Amy, you're so funny. Okay.
My name's Little Lamb.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely, Dan. He is ratcheting up because he was defending. And then remember, he said that one statement that the IRS knew what they were doing. That Mueller knew what he was doing. And then, all hell broke loose after he said that. But he didn't have all the facts. And every day I have to listen to Joe Walsh on this radio station talk about, the FBI, they know what they're doing. Let's just let it ride out. Why would we let something ride out that was started on a false premise to begin with? And does Joe Walsh have all the facts? Because the fact is they're not handing over the documents. And isn't that an indictment itself?
Well,
I mean, I don't
you don't have to
understand.
listen to Joe Walsh, number one. There's no
Well,
legal
I'm not
requirements.
going to anymore because, I can't stand listening to this baloney
Well,
about the FBI.
Well, yeah, it's just curious. It would have been interesting if this had come up with more specificity than previously discussed. But, they just had this meeting a week ago Friday with Speaker Ryan, Gowdy, Nunes, Wray, Rosenstein, other DOJ and FBI personnel unnamed about this document production. So they had this powwow, and then now fast forward 2 weeks, and you got the two of them before a congressional committee still getting routed by the people that they've already met with to discuss the same topic. So I just wish, there was some kind of holding to account. Jim Jordan mentioned some of what Peter Strzok told members of the committee behind closed doors. Obviously, I'd like to hear more of what he had to say, those exchanges publicly at some point. But it's just a curious case that you can still be in this dynamic of you're not complying, yes, we are. You're not complying, yes, we are. Public meetings, public hearings, private meetings, and we can't seem to get off this hamster wheel. It's bizarre to me. Candace, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Alex in West Dundee.
Good morning. I love your show. I said a while back that Rosenstein, Mueller, and the wet noodle Jeff Sessions should have all been gone. But once again, Trump let it play out, and I think he was right.
All right. Thanks for the call, Alex.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I don't think Plato had former CIA Director General Michael Hayden's tweet comparing Trump immigration policy to the Birkenau death camp at Auschwitz in mind when he conceived of the noble lie. Nor would Plato likely place under the noble lie header the D.C. Press Corps' magical storytelling about a 2-year-old Time magazine cover girl who was separated from her father in Honduras by her mother, but never separated from her mother by Border Patrol or anyone named Trump, not even Peter Fonda's nemesis Barron. The lies told by elites these days are intended to foment social unrest, not cohesion. The ignoble truth is that today's elites cover their tracks by feeding the public supersized whoppers to stunt their appetites for edifying information and dull their attention spans. Never mind that the fix was in at FBI. See Trump's criticism of Comey as a veiled predicate to martial law. Never mind that family separation was not new policy at the border and that only the enforcement of it was new. Instead, understand this as an existential battle not for border security, but against bigotry. In other news, Paul Manafort has pled guilty to a violent crime for which he was not charged. ABC News reports.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile.
Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at gurneedds.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
Your business's finances are very personal. It's the determining factor on the course you'll take for your family and your employees. But what happens when you're reaching a phase when you need advice? You want to turn to an expert, but who can you trust? Look for someone who is both knowledgeable and involved in the community, like Fred O'Connor of Northwestern Mutual. Fred has worked from Wall Street to Europe in the financial industry, but his calling as an engaged civic leader speaks to the earnest trust Fred has gained over his 30 years serving businesses and the families that run them. Fred serves on the board of the 100 Club of Chicago, the Big Shoulders Fund, and the Irish Fellowship Club. Fred can help you manage risk and plan for your goals, such as rewarding key people and strategies for business exit. Visit fredoconnor.com to learn more about Fred's services and how he can take your business to the next level. That's fredoconnor.com. Northwestern Mutual is the marketing name for the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Fred O'Connor is an insurance agent of NM.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you, the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Freak yeah, Jimmy John's.
Freak yeah, what if I just needed 1 sandwich delivered?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
What about 100 sandwiches?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
What about 24 sandwiches?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
67 sandwiches?
Freak yeah, we can do that.
You know, 67's a prime number.
Freak yeah, a whole number greater than one whose only factors are 1 in itself, I know.
Great. I'll take 1 turkey tom, please.
Freak yeah, 1 turkey tom, on the way.
Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah!
Squirrely is a hard-working squirrel that enjoys life to the fullest, eager to take on new challenges and experiences, alongside Starlet, his soulmate, and the love of his life. Read Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet, and see the world through the eyes of a newborn squirrel. You'll delight in the antics of Squirrely, Starlet, and their little family. A heartwarming adventure that teaches family values. Beautifully illustrated, a great story-time read. Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet from Larry Friend, available now at litfirepublishing.com. You will fall in love with Icy the Iceberg, the new, highly original children's book from Larry Friend. Follow Icy on his incredible journey, beginning his life as a sparkling snowflake and emerging as a beautiful blue floating iceberg. Icy the Iceberg is a joy for parents and kids alike. Experience together the fun creatures Icy encounters along his journey from snowflake to iceberg and back to snowflake. Kids will learn the complexities of the water cycle in a way they'll really enjoy. Icy the Iceberg, available now at litfirepublishing.com.
One of the least glamorous pieces of the puzzle in a construction or home improvement project is getting rid of the waste. It's definitely the last thing contractors or homeowners want to deal with, but it's a necessity. Getting affordable dumpster service quickly to a construction site can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. For hassle-free dumpster service, contact Midwest Companies. They're focused on dumpster services that will help keep your project safe, clean, and on schedule. Midwest Companies takes care of contractors in need of a dumpster that's strong enough for heavy material and the homeowner doing a home improvement project, garage, basement foreclosure, or estate clean-out. For a company that's built a great reputation with local contractors and residents by providing fast, efficient dumpster service at a competitive price, consult with Midwest Companies for a no hidden fee quote. For new customers and a limited time, get $50 off your first service. Midwest Companies. Online at mwcompanies.com. mwcompanies.com. The warmth of sun is here for you to enjoy the great outdoors. Feel like an instant getaway with a beach vibe and fun for the entire family? There's a place nearby you're going to want to check out. Bridges Waterside Grill and Bridge Inn in Michigan City, Indiana. Bridge Inn is the perfect place for your Lake Michigan escape. Amazing attractions like the Uptown Arts District, boutique shopping, beaches, the zoo, casino, and museums are all in walking distance. Bridge Inn offers year-round lodging, but you can take in the sunshine at the Bridges Waterside Grill through September. Grab a cocktail and dine on fish tacos, burgers, and wraps with lots of vegetarian and seafood options. Book one of 14 suites at Bridge Inn before summer sells out. Bridges is located near the rotating train bridge on the Trail Creek waterfront in the heart of Michigan City. Don't visit Michigan City without stopping by the Bridge Inn and Bridges Waterside Grill. For more info and availability, visit bridgeinnmc.com. That's bridgeinnmc.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
Kennedy in 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 10 in from the junction. Also seeing delays now on the inbound Ike, Manheim through Des Plaines. 40 minutes in from Thorndale, 27 in from Manheim. Inbound Ryan backs up right about 31st, 24 minutes, 95th in. Looks like police took care of that fella who was wandering the roadway near the outbound Ike. Inbound Bishop Ford. Watch for brake lights right near 103rd. Traffic's a service of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Wishing you were on a big adventure instead of stuck in a little traffic. On July 6th, join Ant-Man and the Wasp in the biggest movie of the summer, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Traffic and service when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Brian May.
Hot and humid today with plenty of sunshine, high 95. Warm and humid tonight with clear skies, low 80. Tomorrow, near record temperatures and humid with sunshine, high 97. Sunday, clouds and sun, humid, high 88. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
73 and gorgeous for the balloon liftoff this morning at the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival. The news service of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Wishing you were on a big adventure. Well, on July 6th, join Ant-Man and the Wasp in the biggest movie of the summer, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 5:58, let's get an update on what's happening in the AM 560 newsroom with dangerous heat hitting Chicagoland. The National Weather Service says an excessive heat watch goes into effect at 11 a.m. this morning. Temps in the upper 90s, heat index values as high as 115. The Reverend Michael Flager is refusing to call off a peace march on the Dan Ryan Expressway next month after pleas from the Chicago Police Department to redirect that march. A CTA employee this morning remains in critical condition after he fell onto the Red Line tracks at the 95th Street station. Authorities believe they have found the vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash last weekend in Oswego that killed the local high school softball coach, Amanda Stanton. Chicago man accused of stealing more than $600,000 in an April armored truck heist in Hammond. Akeem Jackson appeared in court yesterday in a charge of Hobbs Act robbery. Investigators believe he is one of three who robbed a Brinks armored truck at gunpoint. Chicago sports. Cubs crushed the Dodgers 11-5 at Chavez Ravine. Twins outlast the White Sox 2-1 in 13 innings. More Dan and Amy after Fox. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
They were murdered at work. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
These are people that were working in an office who were doing their job.
Capital Gazette reporter Phil Davis was in the newsroom in Annapolis, Maryland when the paper was attacked, and he tweeted, "There's nothing more terrifying than hearing multiple people get shot while you're under your desk and then hear the gunman reload." 5 of his co-workers were killed. The accused gunman is due in court later this morning. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, that accused gunman is Jared Ramos, and he is facing 5 counts of first-degree murder. He was taken into custody after police found him hiding under a desk. Acting County Police Chief Bill Crumpf says Ramos was someone workers at the paper were familiar with.
Threats were sent over social media. We're trying to confirm what account that was,
and we're trying to confirm who actually sent them.
He filed a defamation lawsuit against the newspaper in 2012, claiming he was harmed by an article about his conviction in a criminal harassment case a year earlier. It was dismissed. Dave.
Tony, the Senate's Republican leader expects President Trump to nominate a Supreme Court justice soon, and
we should be able to work our way through the confirmation process sometime before early fall.
But Democrats like Senator Kirsten Gillibrand say, hold on.
Mitch McConnell has set the rules. He said we will not allow a Supreme Court justice during an election year.
McConnell says, no, that was during a presidential election year. This is not one of those years. It's midterms. Vice President Pence is in Guatemala telling the leaders of that country, Honduras and El Salvador,
this exodus must end. It is a threat to the security of the United States.
Many of the migrants coming to the U.S. illegally and the controversy over separated families are from those countries. First Lady Melania Trump visited children at facilities in Arizona. A Brazilian mom has been reunited with her 9-year-old son after a federal judge in Chicago ordered the boy to be released. A few weeks ago, the two showed up at the Texas border requesting asylum. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy announces his retirement.
He's been a great justice of the Supreme Court,
giving President Trump a second Supreme Court pick.
We have a very excellent list of great talent.
And the confirmation fight begins now.
We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
Hear it all right here, all summer long.
Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
Right here. AM 560, The Answer.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the
sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. I love to barbecue, but there's nothing worse than running out of propane in the midst of cooking. It's all about being prepared, and that's how we look at your retirement planning.
Absolutely. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group is fired up about helping you be ready.
Tune in each week as we discuss practical ways to be ready for your retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and pick Wealth Management Group to be your +1 this summer. Listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and I've got a program warning here, so please listen up. We are about to discuss Whoopi Goldberg's lady parts.
Oh, yay!
Now, this may induce nausea, projectile vomiting, and/or anal bleeding. So if you're on any medication, please do consult your physician before you listen to this segment.
Well, okay, so The View, I watched it so you didn't have to. And they were very concerned about, Justice Kennedy retiring and what's going to happen. And Joy Behar.
I'm getting nauseous already. I've got to tell you, this is how powerful this is. I'm just thinking about what you're about to say.
All right, well, just listen to her level of intelligence when it comes to political matters and how Meghan McCain straightens her out.
Thomas Jefferson and James Madison are rolling over in their grave today. What happened to separation of powers? What happened to checks and balances in this country? Gone. Yeah.
Well, Democrats were in power for a long time.
especially under Obama, you had 3 branches of government at the time. It's just the pendulum swinging the other way. And I think one thing, because I knew last night I was texting my sister-in-law and I was like, tomorrow's going to be a rough day on the show because I was thrilled with this news. I'm happy that we're going to get another Supreme Court nominee, especially as a pro-life, pro-gun, strict constitutionalist Republican. And I will say that judges don't always turn out how you think. You're not even looking at me, Joy. I was trying to ease your fears a little bit. Kennedy in particular was a swing voter. Gay marriage passed because of him. He was nominated under Reagan. We're a long time coming before this actually legally passes.
Oh my God, stop. No. I cannot, no.
We haven't even gotten to Whoopi yet, and I'm already sick.
Why do you have to play that?
I'm sick. I can't.
Go somewhere. Go to the bathroom. Don't do it on the air. She talked about elections having consequences. Listen up.
I know it's easy sometimes to watch Trump and think that the world is coming to an end, but elections have consequences. And last night, Amber Tamblyn was tweeting about all the Democrats like Susan Sarandon who thought that they couldn't possibly vote for Hillary Clinton because I think her direct quote was the revolution would come.
I'm furious
How do you
with her
feel
too.
now? How do
And
those
all of
people
those
feel now?
people.
How do the Jill Stein and Bernie people
actually,
feel now?
I'm like,
no, all right, no, I'll get through it. Please keep going.
and then there's the vajayjay. Get out of my vajayjay!
Because I have to tell you, as a woman, I think you're trying to take my rights away. That's right. Okay? You don't care. I mean, and as a person who believes in the Constitution, which tells me that I have the right to be myself and do the things I want to do, and I don't have to listen to what your religion is, and I don't have to listen to what you want it to be. I have to make sure that as an American citizen, I'm doing the right stuff and taking care of business. I don't like this line that I, as a Democrat or an independent or whatever, is trying to take away anything from you. I'm trying to hold on to my personal rights so that you can have the rights you want. See, because if you take mine, I feel like you're the one with the problem. If you take my right away from me to judge what I do for my family and my body, I got a little problem with that. You got a problem. You don't want people to take your guns. Well, get out of my behind. Get out of my vagina.
I'm not listening to this. Make it stop. Now I'm not hungry anymore.
No, I feel better. I feel better. So, yeah. All right. Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah. Here's a sober thought. This is a tweet from Sohrab Amari on this whole matter of what a conservative Gorsuch-style justice replacing Kennedy would mean for the court and for some of the cultural issues to which the ladies were referring. Here's a sober thought. Not a single one of the left's sexual revolution victories was won at the ballot box, going back to Griswold v. Connecticut, the contraception case. So conservatives are right to see this as a chance to restore an order upset by judicial usurpations. These rights that the ladies are discussing, these were not legislative enactments. This was all leftist rule-making, law-making, cultural redefinition from the court, from the judiciary. Going back to Griswold, all of them, all of the sexual revolution victories were advanced by the court, not duly elected legislative bodies. And that's an important note. David French, if I could do a bit of a palate cleanser here.
Yeah, I'm feeling nauseous.
I told you this segment was going to induce nausea.
Well, why do you have to do that to me and the listeners? What do we do to you?
Look, you're the one who wanted to play Whoopi. And, and
well,
all bets are off.
I like Meghan McCain, what she said.
I don't have an iron constitution.
I can't even believe ABC News lets her on the air.
I mean, Meghan McCain, she's a nice girl.
Well,
okay,
what she said, she defended the right, and I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, for what that show is.
Yes.
Which is,
fascinating show.
Which is a show that induces projectile vomiting. David French points out what we can reasonably expect from a more originalist court when the sexual revolution collides with the First Amendment, as it did in the NIFLA case that was recently decided, and the Masterpiece Cake Shop case that were both recently decided by the Supreme Court. Expect the First Amendment to win. Expect religious liberty to prevail over sexual revolution mores. Yeah, good. Second, look for greater clarity on the Second Amendment. Third, you'll likely find interesting majorities protecting civil liberties from police abuse. Fourth, prepare for a more colorblind court when it comes to issues like state-sponsored affirmative action, particularly in higher education. Remember, it was the Grutter v. Bollinger decision, University of Michigan Law School and undergrad decisions back at the beginning of this century where Sandra Day O'Connor projected that, we still need affirmative action, but perhaps 25 years into the future we won't. Well, that day is coming, which is good news. Fifth, expect greater skepticism towards the exercise of executive authority, since the ladies are so concerned about the separation of powers and checks and balances all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then sixth, abortion law will likely change, though we don't know how much. And the other suggestion that French makes and what you can expect, don't expect an originalist court to overturn Obergefell. This is the marriage redefinition case. I say that not because Obergefell is a well-reasoned decision or because there's anything originalist about it. There isn't, and it wasn't. But because there exists little appetite to mount a serious legal challenge to Obergefell, and so it's difficult to foresee a cert-worthy case that would require the justices to consider the precedent. It's they're in full hysteria over the prospect of a more conservative court. And frankly, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg or another one of the elderly justices of the left retires, then you could really look to reshape the court and rebalance the culture, at least as it pertains to Supreme Court interpretation of the Constitution and laws challenged against it for the foreseeable future, for generations.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's the oldest justice right now, correct?
Yes.
And she does that workout. She does her burpees every day. And our church prays for her. She's on the pamphlet every Sunday. Our prayers for good health for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm not making that up.
Oh, I believe it.
But also, I talked to my ex-father-in-law, who's a federal judge, and he was out of his mind yesterday. He said, what Supreme Court justices used to be appointed because they know the Constitution and they enforce the law of the land. Now it's if you pledge allegiance to a man. So he thinks that list, the Heritage Foundation list with 25 judges, he thinks that they have all secretly pledged their allegiance to President Trump to the conservative movement.
Sounds like a guy who shouldn't be on the federal bench, is what it sounds like to me. Would you like to challenge the credentials or legal mind of Neil Gorsuch, or are you just going to engage in conspiracy theories? Ex-father-in-law.
Oh, yeah. No, then he also said President Trump meeting with Putin, they're going to form a solidarity together. And I just went, okay.
Right.
Can my kids get out of your car now because you're going to crazy town?
Conspiracy theories from the federal bench.
And he wants to know if he should learn Russian or Chinese. He's like, then the Chinese are going to get involved, and Trump is going to work with Putin and the president of China. And I just went,
right.
And I looked at Peyton and Eli, and Peyton was just
right.
And high sign. And then he thinks that there's going to be a civil war too.
And so he's the one worried about politics from the bench, huh? Yeah. The irony obviously lost on him.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today. It's going to be hot. We have a heat index excessive heat warning kicking in here at 11 a.m. With the heat index, it's going to feel like 105 degrees today. Same with tomorrow, and on Sunday, sunny, a high of 92. What are you doing?
Nothing.
What are you doing? You're scheming. You're plotting against me. You're doing something. Let's get into the... No, don't. No.
I just had a little left.
Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Dominic Fortini in for Jim Telemonte. I hope we're not making you sick.
I'm good to go. Inbound Kennedy, 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 21 on the outbound southbound trip with some hangups near Bryn Mawr into Sayre on the west end. Inbound side of the Eisenhower taps the brakes. Manheim to Austin, 42 minutes in from Thorndale, 29 in from Manheim. Watch for some hangups on the inbound Stevenson. Already pretty thick with double-digit delays. Harlem to Kedzie, 48 minutes in from 355. Inbound Ryan on the brakes at 31st, 25 in from 95th. And a few delays on the inbound Bishop Ford cost you some time between Cottage Grove and the Ryan. Keep in mind in Naperville, northbound Route 59 shut down 95th to 87th. Should be wrapped up, hopefully, by 8. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
You know, people say, my basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't expect your living room or bedroom to get wet, do you? Then why settle and continue to live with a wet basement? The PermaSeal team believes your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call at 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value in the industry. Roy Spencer started PermaSeal in 1979, and it's still a local Chicagoland family business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. Did you know they have the most positive reviews of any waterproofing company on the Better Business Bureau website? Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. PermaSeal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-SEAL, or check out permaseal.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you, my dear.
America is falling in love with Mr. Rogers again. Entertainment Weekly raves. It's the movie we need right now.
Fred's theology was love your neighbor and love yourself. It was a communication right into their hearts.
Mr. Rogers' faith has inspired us all.
Thank you for whatever you do to bring joy and faith to our world today.
Please? Won't You Be My Neighbor? Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now in theaters everywhere.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I know you're probably making your 4th of July weekend plans, and remember, most of you have probably already put it on your calendar, but July 7th, we're all getting together with Father Flager from the Archie cartoon series, and we're going to go march down the Dan Ryan and then stop traffic in order to stop violence in Chicago.
I'm out of my mind. I mean, I'm sweating right now.
Out of your mind with excitement?
No, with anger, because this is the worst idea ever. So here's the deal. He wants to walk. They leave St. Sabina at 9:30, get to the Dan Ryan at 10, shut down the Dan Ryan between 67th and 75th Street. But here's the problem. That's going to create more chaos. Chicago police reached out to him. The superintendent reached out to Reverend Father Flager yesterday and said, don't do this. You're putting your already gang-infested neighborhoods at risk, because they're going to have to pull 200 officers out of the neighborhoods to try and protect people who are on the Dan Ryan. Where I say, if he goes to the Dan Ryan, arrest him, arrest all of his protesters, put them in the paddy wagons, and take them downtown, because this is a safety hazard. You cannot shut down the Dan Ryan. Even Illinois State Police, they reached out to him and said, can we give him one lane? And they said, no, we can't do a partial shutdown. We have to shut down the entire expressway.
Yeah, how do you give them one lane? You got people speeding by you at 70 miles an hour, but you've got this the broken
the shoulder.
Yeah, well, you've got the white stripes protecting you.
Well, this is the thing. Illinois State Police are now involved. Police officers are getting pulled off of their vacation. time
Great.
in order to make sure that people are safe.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you agree with me that making neighborhoods less safe during the protest, the irony lost on Father Flagler, and the expense that we will pay for overtime and to bring in more
Those
police
on furlough.
officers and so forth, do you agree with me that that is a small price to pay with a promise we know we can count on from Father Flagler to end violence in Chicago? July 7th is the last day that we'll have violence in Chicago. So, I mean, for that, I would say, that's probably a good trade-off.
You've got a level 1 trauma center there on 95th Street. And emergency vehicles, anybody with a medical issue, ambulances, police cars, fire trucks. It's a dangerous idea to shut down
Amy,
the Dan Ryan Expressway.
Some people are going to have to be sacrificed for the greater good of ending Chicago violence. So if there's a medical emergency someone has and they can't get to the hospital, or people recognize there's not the police presence normally in their neighborhoods that have become shooting galleries because they're over at the Dan Ryan with Father Flagler. I mean, those are just some of the casualties of war, this war on violence.
Listen to First Deputy Police Superintendent Anthony Rico. He said that he would love to sit down with Flagler and talk about other major thoroughfares where media attention would still be high and the inconvenience to motorists would still be great. No, don't do that. Don't march. Have a prayer. Pray in your church or something. You don't need to take it to the streets again.
They've done the midnight vigil. They've done the novelty T-shirts. But this is
happening at the tail end of a very long holiday weekend where people drive back and forth on the Dan Ryan.
This is a kill shot. This is a kill shot for Chicago violence. Chicago violence ends. Mark your calendars. Was it the 7th?
The Saturday at 10 a.m.
A week from Saturday at 10 a.m. No more violence. Things are looking up.
Flagler said he apparently, according to one alderman, he slammed the door on the site change. No, he's gone. I'm doing it.
You're not going to stop him.
You're all coming with me.
Finally, somebody that's willing to end the violence. Father Flagler. Bob in Waukegan.
Yeah, I think we should enlist some of America's finest, the farmers from Illinois. Line up about 6 honey wagons in front of that parade when it takes off, and just let them spew a little bit at a time as they're going through the parade route. No problem. Just use taxpayer money to pay those farmers, and once they're dispersed, get one fire engine in the back that has water in it and spray the street down. We're done.
All right, very good.
They should
Thanks
put
for
up
the call,
those
Bob.
barriers that they put up when we had what do we have here?
NATO.
When we had NATO, they could put up those big, huge concrete barriers and then those fences.
Yeah, it's a great idea. That's add more expense to this little
right.
production.
You'd have to bring in front loaders and all that to bring them in.
John in Hobart, Indiana. Hey, John.
An idea.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
Hey, Flagler, if he wants to have a protest, I really don't care. I mean, people can do what they want to do.
Sure.
The cops aren't keeping the neighborhood safe. The cops give out tickets, or they go to the crime after it happens. Make a report. If these people want to shoot each other, who cares? This is the whole reason. This is the whole reason I'm a libertarian. You gotta look out for yourself. I mean, if you're gonna worry about the cops, oh my God, the neighborhood's not safe because the cops aren't on my corner. That's ridiculous.
Now listen to this.
Right? Don't you think?
Thanks for the call, John. Well, I mean, I agree that ultimately you're going to be made responsible for your own protection, whether you want to be or not, and that the cops are by nature a reactive institution. That's not an insult to police officers. That's just a reality. There's obviously not a policeman on every square block, so they're going to react.
Side. So Flagler didn't budge when they told him that they'd take 200 officers out of the South and West Side neighborhoods. He said, we close down streets all the time for festivals, for rallies, for Taste of Chicago, for the president coming in town. We closed down the Dan Ryan last week when a girl stepped in front of an L. This is not the first time they've had to close down a major artery.
All right, well, we'll close down those arterials if you step in front of an L too, Father Flagler. I mean, I'm just saying, if that's the standard. So one other thing, though, why we should care about people shooting each other, if it's not obvious. One is because we're our brother's keeper. Number two, and I don't mean that in a government sense, I mean that in an individual sense. And number two, let's not forget, in those terrible neighborhoods in Chicago, the majority of residents and families are law-abiding. And so they deserve the same police protection and police resource response that I get in Streeterville, or you get in Lakeview, or you get in the suburbs. So that's why. I mean, let's not just pretend that these are just gangbangers having high noon draws. There's a whole host of law-abiding families that are otherwise productive, good people that are caught in all of the violent crime ongoing as well.
What if we put down stop sticks?
Stop sticks for the parade?
For the people when they're walking to the Dan Ryan. You know what stop sticks are?
Uh-huh.
So that they can't proceed forward.
Yeah.
That's kind of violent. I'm sorry. I try to make a funny.
Well, it's fine because that's going to be your last opportunity for violence, because as soon as that parade is done, no more violence.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
George and Monique.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. I got the first couple of sawbucks for the defense fund, whoever flattens Flager.
All right. Thanks for the call, George. You mean that rhetorically, flattens him with your intellect. Tom in Deer Park.
Good morning. I wish I could say something funny or snarky, but I've seen Father Flager in action for so long. I happen to be a Catholic, and this falls squarely on the shoulders of Cardinal Supich. Flager's been pulling these stunts for 30 years. This might be the biggest and the best one of all, and I wish the Cardinal Supich would step up and stop this nonsense, because forget the importance and safety of the people on the south side is paramount, but how about the institution of the Archdiocese of Chicago and the Catholic Church? This guy's making a fool out of us in our church, and I feel strongly about it. I wish he would stop.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. Thanks for the call. And as much as I admired and respected Cardinal George, I also thought it was a failure of his. He rebuked, he disciplined Flager a little bit, but he ultimately didn't go as far as he needed to go. I mean, Father Flager should be defrocked. He's a fraud. He's a disgrace to the Catholic Church. He's a demagogue. He's nothing more than one of these little Cornish politicians running around giving you the same line of bull jive. What's happened to Father Flager's neighborhood since he's been there?
It's been awful, but he lives there. I mean,
that's great. I'm not talking about virtue signaling. I'm not talking about, fine, but I'm not talking about his virtue signaling. I'm not talking about
his neighborhood's in the same horrible place that it has been for the past 20 years.
And how long has he been there?
30.
So his work product in his parish community is what? And by the way, his work product is, well, you can't blame Flager. He's not a policymaker. Right. But he supports all of the policies that have destroyed neighborhoods like the one that surrounds St. Sabina. He's an advocate for what we've been doing in Chicago for the entire time he's been here. And he continues to be, as witnessed by this latest spectacle. Jeff and Marengo.
Hey, good morning. You know, this has been a perfect opportunity for some of those expressway shooters to get a little target practice in.
No, Jeff. No.
We don't do that.
No. Jeff, no.
This is going to be a hot mess. 4th of July weekend, it's going to be warm all week. And they're going to leave 200 police officers are going to leave the west and south side neighborhoods and go to the Dan Ryan.
Why don't you round up some of your friends from Lakeview and do a counter parade, and then you could have like a parade off, like the Jets and the Sharks. It could be like a little West Side Story on the Dan Ryan. What do you think about that?
We could do a dance.
Yeah.
Do a chain,
Stomp
spin,
the Yard, or
spin.
whatever one of those movies are, where you do like a dance off.
Oh yeah, what are those movies? Oh my gosh, I can't. You know what I'm talking about? What's the name of those movies? Because I'm sure you've never.
Stomp the Yard.
Is it called Stomp the Yard?
That's one of them. I mean, there are many dance movies. Electric Boogaloo 2. A Break-In 2, Electric Boogaloo. Could do something like that.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We will give the latest details on that terrible shooting at the newspaper in Annapolis, Maryland at 6:36.
And the motive behind it. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Dangerous heat expected this weekend in and around Chicagoland and across the entire Midwest. National Weather Service says temps could reach the 90s here with heat index values over 115. Man accused of killing 5 at a Maryland newspaper is charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder.
First victim's name is Wendy Winters. Second victim is Rebecca Smith. Third victim is Robert Hyacin. Fourth victim is Gerald Feshman. And the fifth victim is John McNamara.
And Andrew Deputy Police Chief Bill Cramp on the workplace violence event that will leave 38-year-old Jared Ramos before a judge this morning. A bail hearing is set for 10:30 in Annapolis, Maryland, where the shooting took place. Republican-led House demanding more documents in the Russia investigation. A non-binding resolution demands that the Justice Department fully comply with congressional demands for sensitive documents by July 6. Meantime, Republicans pushed Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein hard on sensitive documents. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan went after Rosenstein in a contentious House hearing, along with South Carolina Republican Trey Gowdy.
Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart.
Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein said he believes the department is doing its best to review and produce documents, getting them to Congress. A Brazilian mother gets her wish after her 9-year-old son was ordered released from a Chicago shelter for unaccompanied children of illegal immigrants. Lydia Souza and Diago were reunited yesterday, and she discussed, through a translator, plans for her future.
I intend to go home, work, and just be able to be by my child's side and just live a good life with him.
The mother plans to live with family in the Boston area while she awaits her asylum proceeding. 3 friends are receiving lengthy prison sentences for the 2014 killing of 15-year-old Demario Bailey during an attempted robbery on Chicago's South Side. Cook County judge sentenced Tariq Breaks to 45 years, his brother Diafro to 31 years. Another man, Carlos Johnson, was sentenced to 37 years behind bars. Court officials may set a trial date in the case against former Peoria Congressman Aaron Schock next week. U.S. District Judge Colin Bruce is holding that hearing where the date may be set. Peoria Republican facing several charges, including wire fraud and theft of government funds. Well, wave goodbye to Toys R Us today. The bankrupt toy retailer closing all of its stores today, all 740. The 7-year-old company announced it would close last March after failing to find a white knight to restructure its debt. Cubs beat the Dodgers 11-5. Twins over the White Sox in 13 innings, 2-1. A 6-under-66 by Sung-Hyun Park helps her top the leaderboard at the Women's PGA Championship at Kemper Lakes in Killdeer. 3 others are 1 shot back. Oregon State is your champion of college baseball. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving and drug driving and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP or MADD.org. 6:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager, The Dennis Prager Show.
One of the reasons that there are no competing goods for the left on this issue is they don't really care if we are inundated with illegal immigrants. That's one reason. Another reason is everything is seen in the prism of how can it hurt this administration.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This Friday and Saturday, get up to $300 in prepaid MasterCards on select tire and wheel packages purchased with Discount Tire Credit. Discount Tire, where America saves on tires.
Squirrely is a hard-working squirrel that enjoys life to the fullest, eager to take on new challenges and experiences alongside Starlet, his soulmate, and the love of his life. Read Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet and see the world through the eyes of a newborn squirrel. You'll delight in the antics of Squirrely, Starlet, and their little family. A heartwarming adventure that teaches family values. Beautifully illustrated, a great storytime read. Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet from Larry Friend. Available now at litfirepublishing.com. You will fall in love with Icy the Iceberg, the new, highly original children's book from Larry Friend. Follow Icy on his incredible journey, beginning his life as a sparkling snowflake and emerging as a beautiful blue floating iceberg. Icy the Iceberg is a joy for parents and kids alike. Experience together the fun creatures Icy encounters along his journey from snowflake to iceberg and back to snowflake. Kids will learn the complexities of the water cycle in a way they'll really enjoy. Icy the Iceberg, available now at lidfirepublishing.com.
6:35. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Well, a couple of things could complicate that ride. In Naperville, northbound Route 59 shut down near 95th because of an overnight crash. Crews should have that wrapped up by 8. Also in the downtown area, you've got a crash on Illinois at Lower Michigan. Inbound Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 23 on the outbound ride. Getting heavier on the inbound Ike, Manheim to Austin, now 50 minutes in from Thorndale, 37 in from Manheim. Delays on the inbound Stevenson will cost you some extra time. Harlem to Kedzie. 49 minutes in from 355, 39 in from the Tri-State. We've got brake lights on the inbound Ryan. Right about 43rd in the Express, 31st in the locals, 25 minutes, 95th into downtown. This traffic is a service of Lowe's. If you're active or veteran U.S. military personnel, Lowe's would like to honor your service by offering you 10% savings every day on purchases you make in-store or online. For details, visit lowes.com/military. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, temperatures near the record of 97, a humid day ahead, but sunshine, high near 96, clear, warm and humid overnight, low 80, high near the record of 97 tomorrow. 73 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and so just want to update this, what we understand to be true regarding this terrible shooting in Maryland yesterday, Annapolis, Maryland, at the offices of a local newspaper, the Capital Gazette. 5 people killed by a individual who had a long-running beef with the newspaper over the newspaper's coverage of his alleged stalking.
Yeah, he's sued them for defamation of character in 2011. He was stalking, apparently, his high school girlfriend, stalking her on the internet. He did not like the coverage. So this has been a longstanding beef that he has had with this paper, sending them letters, taking to social media because he's upset with this paper. So he walked in around 2:40 in the afternoon, used the weapon to blast open a glass door. Shotgun to gain entry. People were hiding. 2 people got out their own weapons, believe it or not, that were in their drawer.
Now, Baltimore Sun reported one individual there pulled 2 handguns out of his desk drawer for self-defense, but they don't report as to what that individual did or did not do. But it is interesting because that was sort of an underreported detail, if it's true.
And one lady took off her high heels. I mean, they're hiding under their desks. It sounds just god-awful.
I know it's easy sometimes to watch Trump and think that the world is coming.
Sorry.
Just continually shooting people. At one point, I'm pretty sure I heard him reload while I was still under my desk where he was only a few feet away from me.
And there I was, sitting under a desk, texting my parents, telling them that I loved them.
I saw a guy holding a gun. The door of the Capitol Gazette had been blown to pieces. It was in shattered pieces all on the carpet.
And the Capitol Gazette, 30 tenants are in the building in which the Capitol Gazette is in. I mean, it's a small paper. 5 others share the first floor with the Capitol Gazette. They include accountants, lawyers, financial medical offices. The newspaper, only in that building since 2015, has about 5,000 square feet of office space. And, you know, it calls to mind, obviously, for completely different motives, but it calls to mind the Charlie Hebdo massacre.
Right, exactly. It's the deadliest shooting at a newspaper in American history. 5 dead. They're a former writer, a feature writer, former from the Baltimore Sun, who is an assistant editor. There's a columnist. There was a sales rep that was shot, and it was just awful. One person said that he was sick. He had to climb over one of his dead colleagues to get out. A crime reporter tweeted this: "I'm a police reporter. I write about this stuff, not necessarily to this extent, but shootings and deaths all the time. But as much as I'm going to try to articulate how traumatizing it is to be hiding under your desk, you don't know until you're there and you feel helpless."
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt.
Police responded within with about 60 seconds when they got the call. They had active trainer shooting 2 days ago, so that helped, and they were able to apprehend the suspect right away.
So there's no indication that this has anything to do with politics, right? This seems a personal vendetta that the shooter had with the newspaper for matters that are personal to the shooter.
Right, and we don't even know his political affiliation because that always seems to come up.
Right. David Axelrod is not yet willing to suggest that he's a member of the Tea Party.
Okay.
He's restraining himself before he does that, the way he did
good.
it in the Jared Loeffner case in the Gabby Giffords shooting in Arizona. But nonetheless, the AP reports this. Second paragraph of their coverage. The shooting came amid months of verbal and online attacks on the fake news media, quote unquote, from politicians and others from President Trump on down. So news organizations, security news organizations has been tightened in New York City in response to this. It's fine.
And the Baltimore Sun and a lot of places received extra police protection yesterday.
I mean,
because some reporters feel under attack because of President Trump, because President Trump is constantly berating the news media, constantly using them as a punchline, and has even said, in the past that the press is the enemy of the people.
What does this have to do with this? What does that have to do with this shooting?
I don't know. Maybe it motivated him to do something now. I mean, he's had a beef for 7 years. Why now when President Trump is president? Does he feel the need that now he has to go in and kill people at this paper?
It is possible.
Kill people that had nothing to even do with the authorization of his story.
Yeah, it is possible. I know this is difficult to people who treat politics as their religion. It is possible that people do things, good and bad, that have nothing to do with who's in the Oval Office. Is that a revolutionary idea? It is possible that there are people who are not hanging on every word that even the President of the United States utters, much less politicians, or pay more attention locally than they do nationally, or pay no attention anywhere. It's possible that people are living in their own private Idaho, and they're motivated by things that have nothing to do with the public policy or political discussions that we have on this show, that you may have in your lives and your social circles.
Well,
contemplate that possibility.
Okay, but why didn't President Trump address reporters yesterday when he got back from Wisconsin, was walking back into the Oval Office, back into the White House? They asked him questions about reporters being killed.
Any words about the dead in the Mr. President, you comment on the shooting. Mr. President, can you react to the shooting in Annapolis? The Annapolis shooting, sir.
Yeah, we get it.
Mr. President,
Need 10 more seconds of them yelling. I got it.
for the families, Mr. President.
And so,
Why are you walking away? Because he didn't walk away after other mass shootings. He went and addressed the press and offered his condolences and his prayers.
So what's your point? What are we to take away from that?
What, if he should have approached the reporters and made a comment. Instead, he, communicated via Twitter saying, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their family members.
What's that evidence of? That he knows he's guilty of inciting the shooting?
No, I just think when it comes to people, if kids were killed, he would have approached the cameras and said something.
Really? The reporters asking every day, after every weekend in Chicago when there's 10 dead and 55 shot?
We're forgotten. It's so commonplace that doesn't even make national news anymore.
Well, okay. Well, so is that a failure of the press? That you're defending so religiously?
I just think that there is an adversarial relationship between President Trump and the press.
As there should be, because he's a politician and they're the fourth estate. The question is work product. Oh, by the way, Jill Abramson, no conservative, former New York Times editor fired off a tweet that was making waves inside the echo chamber that is the D.C. press corps. Kind of pees me off that New York Times is still asking who is Ocasio-Cortez when it should have covered her campaign. Missing her rise is akin to not seeing Trump's win coming in 2016. She talks about the narcissistic New York Times, how it's making horrible mistakes and needs a course correction, unless you think this was some sort of, kind of double agent conservative within the confines of the New York Times. In a separate piece for The Guardian, Abramson writes about the need to resist Trump's next Supreme Court nominee to replace Justice Kennedy. So she is a dyed-in-the-wool woman of the left, and yet she sees the sloppy reporting at her former employer. Or they
didn't do one story on her.
Well, they mentioned her a couple times, but they did. There was she notes this, Abramson. 2 news stories prior to election night and a few name checks and editorials, one of which published in the June 20th print edition noted she's a challenger Crowley is heavily favored to beat.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Real in-depth reporting there.
Well, right, and so this is her point. They're navel-gazing. They're narcissistic navel-gazers, and they don't know what's going on outside their little bubble at the New York Times.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Ken in Plainfield.
Yeah, Amy, I don't get why you keep saying Trump should have stopped and talked to the reporters. Why should he? All they're going to do is keep berating him and trying to make it his fault for something that's been going on for, 6 years? I mean, he's never going to win that exchange. The hate for him by the press is obvious. And for once, I'm impressed that he made the smart move and just kept on watching.
All right.
Thanks for the call, Ken. One of the fungible CNN talking heads said an attack on journalists is an attack on all Americans. Okay, I guess. Is that right? Or is it, is an attack, what is an attack on a South Side kid an attack on all Americans? Is,
an attack on a student, an attack on all Americans?
I mean, who is more important?
Did Brian Stelter say that, your favorite guy?
No, but it's it's sort of this again, self-indulgence and self-aggrandizement. Are journalists more important than ordinary Americans? They are.
And so are lawyers. Yes.
All right. Well, I just wanted to know. That answers my question. Jerry in Palatine.
Not.
Hi, I was hoping to address Amy's ridiculous comment, kind of giving credibility to the half-witted idea that Trump and his administration are somehow responsible for shootings like this. I'd like to submit that it's people in the media that make folk heroes out of these shooters, that right away got to go to their families and find out that they were bullied and what their mental problems were, that make folk heroes out of these guys. And I'd like to point out that, the next shooter is listening. The next shooter is watching. And when people like Amy come out there and talk about it's somebody else's fault, that's appalling.
All right, thanks for the call, Jerry.
I'm sure it won't be long before they find the high school girl that he was stalking and say, oh, this could have happened to you. How do you feel?
Well, we have talked about this before, and we've sort of made it our policy not to mention the names of these shooters.
We haven't mentioned his name once today.
Right, because...
We just know he's 38.
And we'll talk to Theodore Dalrymple, by the way, who's a psychiatrist at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour on this. But there's a lot of evidence to suggest from experts in the field that all of the coverage, particularly if you use the name, does instigate those that are other marginally attached to reality to do similar, to commit similar atrocities.
He did enter the same way that Adam Lanza got into Sandy Hook.
Well,
and that's by, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it, by shooting out the front window.
Right. And so there is, there's something to that. So again, we've talked about this before in the context of these school shootings. It's interesting that newspapers like the Tribune have a policy of not reporting on suicides and naming those who commit suicide because they don't want to encourage others to do the same. We should have that policy writ large, should not the fourth estate and their responsibility. But the other responsibility, back to this AP story, is if you're going to offer a statement like they offered, leading their coverage. The shooting came amid months of verbal and online attacks on the fake news media from politicians and others from President Trump on down. Then provide context. Give me the causal or correlative link between that statement and what happened at that newspaper's offices yesterday. Joe on the South Side.
Yeah, good morning, you guys. Yeah, I think they should do full background checks and license these guys before they allow them to date girls and, get into relationships, because evidently these relationships are turning these guys into gun-crazed madmen.
So
what do you think?
It's women. That's we have to be licensed to date women because women are the
That's
proximate cause. Got it. All right. Thanks for the call, Joe. Here, text. This is an interesting question. Was the attack on congressmen at a baseball practice? Was that an attack on all Americans?
Yes.
Well, I mean, but did CNN characterize
No, they didn't.
the attempted assassination of members of Congress as an attack on all Americans? They hold themselves in very high regard, don't they?
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Hundreds charged in a healthcare crackdown. More changes and store closings for Chipotle, and Madison Square Garden may spin off the Knicks. Those stories next.
Hey, this is Ricky from Banyan Hill. I want to get a few things straight. First off, I like freedom. Second, I like money. Fact is, I like freedom and money, which is why I love Freedom Checks, a unique investment that can secure your retirement income without being tied down to the government. And while I'm no genius, I am smart enough to follow an expert like Matt, who showed me how anyone has the chance to stake their claim on an estimated $34.6 billion payout. To get all the details from Matt, just go to myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. Now, how much your check is depends on how much you put behind Matt's insights, but the potential here is undeniable. Of course, if you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion, you must have your ducks in a row ASAP. So don't wait. Go see Matt at myfreedomchecks.com. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
More than 600 people arrested in a nationwide crackdown on healthcare fraud and opiate abuse by the U.S. Justice Department. This is the largest healthcare fraud takedown in American history. Tex-Mex restaurant chain Chipotle restructuring its business, making more changes to its menu, closing struggling locations. Executives say the plan will cost $135 million. The chain continues to struggle in the wake of illnesses customers contracted at Chipotle locations nationwide. Madison Square Garden may spin off its sports division, which owns the NHL Rangers and the NBA New York Knicks, into a separate publicly traded company. MSG shares jumped 11% after the news. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You have to love all the products from MyPillow. It's American-made. Mike Lindell up there in Minnesota, coming up with new ideas on a regular basis. And the mattress topper has 3 unique layers of comfort, which evenly supports your body weight, helps relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated all night, not too cold or too hot. And don't wait to get yours, because in June, which is 2 days left, you'll save 30% when you buy your mattress topper. Plus, they're going to kick in 2 free standard MyPillows. It's an unbelievable offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off that mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping. But you have to use the promo code AMY, A-M-Y. 10-year warranty on pillows and mattress toppers and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for these great deals. And 30% off pet beds, sheets, and much more. Find it all at MyPillow.com. Use the promo code AMY at checkout to receive some unbelievable discounts. MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201.
Looking to refinance your existing mortgage and want the lowest rates and lowest closing costs? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Other lenders boast about having low closing costs, which is like me saying I look good in a pair of 32-inch pants. Truth is, other lenders' closing costs are substantially higher than Team Hochberg's closing costs, and I haven't fit into a pair of 32-inch pants in over 40 years. Compare Team Hochberg's closing costs against any other lenders. And if our closing costs aren't lower, I'll donate to Veterans Roasters, an organization who hires homeless veterans to roast coffee in an organization Team Hochberg already financially supports. When securing a mortgage, you can either work with a lender whose definition of low closing costs are over $1,000 higher than ours, or you can call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I don't think Plato had former CIA Director General Michael Hayden's tweet comparing Trump immigration policy to the Birkenau death camp at Auschwitz in mind when he conceived of the Noble Lie. Nor would Plato likely place under the Noble Lie header the D.C. Press Corps' magical storytelling about a 2-year-old Time magazine cover girl who was separated from her father in Honduras by her mother, but never separated from her mother by Border Patrol or anyone named Trump, not even Peter Fonda's nemesis Barron. The lies told by elites these days are intended to foment social unrest, not cohesion. The ignoble truth is that today's elites cover their tracks by feeding the public supersized whoppers to stunt their appetites for edifying information and dull their attention spans. Never mind that the fix was in at FBI. See Trump's criticism of Comey as a veiled predicate to martial law. Never mind that family separation was not new policy at the border and that only the enforcement of it was new. Instead, understand this as an existential battle not for border security, but against bigotry. In other news, Paul Manafort has pled guilty to a violent crime for which he was not charged. ABC News reports.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society. creating a better world for pets and their people.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He's not cooperating. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The accused gunman in the shooting at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Maryland that killed 2 reporters, 2 editors, and a sales assistant.
So we're still very frustrated. We know what happened, and we know where it happened, but we're still trying to figure out a lot of the whys. Obviously, there was an axe to grind with the newspaper.
Anne Arundel County Police Chief Timothy Altamari. Jared Ramos is due in court in a few hours on first-degree murder charges. He's been angry at the Gazette since a 2011 article.
The piece detailed how Ramos stalked a woman he went to high school with, calling her vulgar names and sending her messages saying things like, quote, "You're going to need a restraining order now." And even though Jared Ramos later pled guilty to criminal harassment, he sued the Capital Gazette for defamation. His lawsuit was dismissed by a circuit court in 2012.
That's Fox's Trace Gallagher. House Republicans remain frustrated trying to investigate an alleged anti-Trump bias at the FBI.
Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart.
Congressman Trey Gowdy at a contentious hearing. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, House Republicans are demanding the Justice Department hand over more records related to the FBI's investigation of the Trump campaign. Congressman Jim Jordan got into it with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein during tense exchanges at a committee hearing.
Your statement that I'm personally keeping information from you, trying to conceal information.
You're the boss, Mr. Rosenstein.
That's correct. And my job is to make sure that we respond to your concerns. We have, sir.
Lawmakers passed a resolution rebuking the department and giving officials until July 6th to produce more documents. Dave.
Rachel, one Democrat at the hearing called it a waste of time. A big protest in D.C. Women outside a Senate office building chanting "Abolish ICE" amid the anger about the president's immigration policy and the controversy over separating families at the border. Nearly 600 protesters were arrested, including a congresswoman. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
In Chicago, beautiful blue skies. Start with sunshine today at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott, but dangerous heat will hit Chicagoland today. The National Weather Service says by the afternoon we'll reach the upper 90s. Heat index values as high as 115, and we'll have that excessive heat watch go into effect at 11 a.m. The Reverend Michael Flager is refusing to call off a peace march on the Dan Ryan Expressway next month, despite a pleas from the Chicago Police Department, who urged the pastor yesterday to abandon plans to shut down the Dan Ryan on July 7. A CTA employee remains in critical condition after falling onto the Red Line tracks at the 95th Street station. The fire department tells us the incident happened yesterday at 95th and the Dan Ryan. The victim remains at Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn. One person is in custody after an elderly woman was found dead in a suspected arson fire in Gary, Indiana. The blaze broke out yesterday in a house in the 3400 block of Johnson Street. An investigation continues following a deadly shooting in Hazel Crest. Police say Karad Beasley was found shot Wednesday outside of a vehicle on 170th. The victim then hospitalized, later pronounced dead. The recent White Sox and Cubs World Series trophies go on display this weekend at the Arlington International Racecourse. Baseball fans will get up close and personal with the hardware Saturday afternoon on Champions Day. Other trophies will be present, like the 1930 Kentucky Derby Trophy and Loyola's Regional Championship Trophy from their Final Four run earlier this year. Cubs beat the Dodgers 11-5. While the Twins outlast the White Sox in 13, 2-1. A 666 leads the Women's PGA Championship at Kemper Lakes in Killdeer. 3 others are one shot back. Oregon State is your champion of college baseball. The World Cup will take a bit of a break today before the knockout stage opens up on Saturday. France and Argentina, Uruguay and Portugal. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Who is Joe Donnelly really working for? As a U.S. Senator, we pay him $174,000 a year. So, Donnelly's taxpayer-funded salary is almost 3 times more than a typical Hoosier family makes. But that wasn't enough for Donnelly. Donnelly took more. His family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. Mexico Joe profited up to $80,000. And a past safety inspection of Donnelly's family business found serious safety violations that put its Hoosier workers in danger. A 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary, his family's business caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico, risking American jobs. Mexico Joe Donnelly profits with tens of thousands. Vote no on Mexico Joe. He's just not working for Indiana. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA, and for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
The warmth of sun is here for you to enjoy the great outdoors. Feel like an instant getaway with a beach vibe and fun for the entire family? There's a place nearby you're going to want to check out. Bridges Waterside Grill and Bridge Inn in Michigan City, Indiana. Bridge Inn is the perfect place for your Lake Michigan escape. Amazing attractions like the Uptown Arts District, boutique shopping, beaches, the zoo, casino, and museums are all in walking distance. Bridge Inn offers year-round lodging, but you can take in the sunshine at the Bridges Waterside Grill through September. Grab a cocktail and dine on fish tacos, burgers, and wraps with lots of vegetarian and seafood options. Book one of 14 suites at Bridge Inn before summer sells out. Bridges is located near the rotating train bridge on the Trail Creek waterfront in the heart of Michigan City. Don't visit Michigan City without stopping by the Bridge Inn and Bridges Waterside Grill. For more info and availability, visit bridgeinnmc.com. That's bridgeinnmc.com.
7:07. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
Thickening traffic on the inbound side of the Kennedy between the junction and the Burns Circle this morning adds up to 35 minutes in from O'Hare, 21 in from Montrose, 22 in the inbound express lanes. Outbound delays, Montrose to Harlem, 28 minutes downtown out to O'Hare. Got an issue on the inbound Ike. 2 right lanes are blocked with a crash near Independence. Brake lights coming on near Cicero. Also going to run into some stop-and-go conditions. 25th to Austin. 47 minutes from Thorndale into the post office. 32 in from Manheim. Hang-ups on the inbound Stevenson. Getting near Central into Kedzie. 52 minutes in from 355. 40 in from the Tri-State. Getting busier on the inbound Ryan. Now 32 minutes. 95th into downtown. Backups begin at 35th in both the locals and the express. Sizable delays happening on the northbound side of the Tri-State as the roads fill in between 88 and North Avenue. Seeing a few backups northbound 355 near 63rd as well. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's meteorologist Brian May.
Hot and humid today with sunshine, high 95. Tonight, clear, warm, and humid, low 80. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, humid with a high of 97. Sunday, clouds and sun with showers and a thunderstorm, high 88. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
74 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. F civility.
Watch your mouth.
Should we F civility? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Michelangelo Signorile, who is a longtime gay rights activist, and he's a editor-at-large or something for the Huffington Post.
What does that even mean? I'm an editor at large.
He was part of ACT UP during the 80s.
Oh.
Kind of radical left gay rights organization that did things that he proudly recalls in his piece, F Civility. That's what he's suggesting.
The title is F Civility.
That's the title of the piece. And it's also his statement in the piece, F that. The word now apparently means being polite even to people who are stripping millions of their rights while lying through their teeth. F that. No civility for him. And just to give you some context here, ACT UP, if you don't recall, they were the organization that shut down the FDA, invaded the New York Stock Exchange, the National Institutes of Health were stormed. They threw condoms during Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral to protest John Cardinal O'Connor. They lowered a giant condom over the home of the late Senator Jesse Helms because they obviously characterized him as anti-gay. That's what ACT UP did. And the interesting thing about the left, and I've said this before, one of the reasons the gay rights movement is one of the most politically successful movements in the history of Western civilization is because they divided labor. You had ACT UP, this guys like Michelangelo here, who were doing things that shocked the conscience of the public, but they were effective in intimidating elite institutions. Meanwhile, you had button-down intellectual Andrew Sullivan articulating the very same positions, advancing the very same agenda as ACT UP, but doing it in a way that was publicly consumable. That's how you can go from homosexuality being designated as a mental disorder, the American Psychiatric Association, in the late 60s, to now homophobia being labeled a mental disorder by the same organization. It happened quickly, within 30 years. That's why you can go from the phrase gay marriage, not found in our lexicon before the late 90s. Go back, look, Google. Nobody was using this phrase. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was advocating for marriage redefinition all the way right up until they just, the natural progression to Obergefell. But that's
started with civil unions and then...
Well, right, but it started long before that. And the whole point is, they were on a continuum. And they knew they were going to succeed incrementally if they could marry the combination, pun intended, of the shame mobsters like ACT UP with the intellectuals as the public spokespeople like Andrew Sullivan, just to use two examples. I mean, regardless of where you are, supportive or not supportive of the agenda, you have to marvel at the political success of organizations that represent less than 2% of the population, at least in terms of, the issue of sexual orientation.
It just seems like a lot more than 2% of the population.
Right. Why does it seem like that?
Because they're really vocal and loud and in your face.
And all those elite institutions were cowered into... No, those elite institutions were cowered into overrepresentation. Try and find a TV show or a movie that doesn't have the necessary gay character.
Right.
Right. And this is why...
Or somebody changing or transitioning.
This is why people... Right, well, that's the next iteration of this, right?
Did you see TLC
2.0.
last night? The girl, she's 17 years old. She had reassignment surgery. She's 17. She's not even 18.
So
she's not.
You have parents doing it to their kids that are minor. I mean, that are pre-adolescents.
She identified as a boy. She was born a boy and then changed into a girl, and now they're celebrating this on TV.
So public opinion surveys find that people think about 25% of the population is gay.
That's what I thought.
When less than 2% is. Why? Because there's an overrepresentation for the purposes of celebration, for the purposes of enforcing the orthodoxy of opinion on the issue. Wildly successful political and cultural movement. And so you should pay attention, as I am, when Mr. Signorile, however he pronounces his name, offers a pronouncement on our politics at present, because they've had some experience finding success with their strategies and tactics. He writes, going on with his argument against civility, that that the Supreme Court, with Trump appointing Neil Gorsuch, has become another arm of the Republican Party. And then he goes on to say, we all know none of these rulings would have gone the way they did if Merrick Garland, President Obama's nominee, were on the court. So, intellectual consistency is not the strong suit of this effort. So the court now is an arm of the Republican Party, according to Michelangelo. If Merrick Garland were on the court, it would be more an arm of the Democrat Party, so that's fine. You see. So not exactly a profound intellectual argument, but here's the what they're going to use in terms of persuasive rhetoric and tools. Democrats and Obama, who personified civility, put their faith in a system of Senate decorum, manners, and rules that had gone the way of floppy disks and VHS recorders, as if Republicans would eventually come to their senses without Democrats taking bold action. Yeah. It's time to move beyond polite protests and within specified boundaries. It's time to escalate the expression of our outrage and our anger in a massive way. He's recalling for something he called for earlier in the year, vigorously protesting Trump officials, confronting them peacefully but passionately when they're out in public, at lunch or at dinner, in front of their homes, and on their way to and from work, everywhere. Let them hear from the people loudly and clearly. Anyone who is supporting Trump while he's putting children in prison camps isn't going to be swayed, and certainly if those people were to change their minds, a protest of Trump officials isn't going to make them switch back. Acting up is not about impulsiveness and feeling good. It's about saving lives by strategically targeting people for protest. Yes, shaming does work, and it does. He's right. Let it not be said that we stayed silent and let the Trump team eat in peace, while it rather rapidly turned America into a fascist state. The argument offered by Michelangelo Signorile is, so should we F civility? Should we respond in kind with to dispensing with civility and targeting people for shaming, generally speaking, but particularly in this case, should the right do the same thing that Signorile is arguing for the left? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. In Chicago, make it local.
Yeah.
Should we run around shaming Tiny Dancer, shaming Tiny Madigan, shaming Tiny Cullerton? By
getting them little tiny houses?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can fit nicely in your tiny house.
Well, what about it? Yeah, we can chase
we do.
Rahm Emanuel around with a high chair for the next 6-8 months that he's mayor. What about that?
People do. I mean, people march to his house all the time and have protests outside of his house, but there's no cameras there.
We're talking about we're talking about something much more significant, right? You're talking about finding people in public settings and
approaching them and
making a public spectacle of them.
Like people did to Kirsten Nielsen and
Pam Bondi.
Chow.
Yeah.
She's still my hero. Don't you go, you leave my husband alone. I don't know, the CPS sexual assault scandal makes me want to publicly shame him. But then he might be so scared because I'm such a tall, statuesque woman.
Yeah.
And he's an ankle biter, so I might get arrested. So I don't know. I haven't seen him lately, but I don't want to see him. I don't want to run into him on the streets.
A related story, since you brought up CPS, since we're shaming, we can barely even muster the attention span to take notice of the CPS sex abuse scandal.
Got another email yesterday, but tell me what you know.
We reported this story in Chicago City Wire, one of my publications. Aramark, which is the food service and facilities company that serves Chicago public school system, it's a vendor.
Yeah, they're the vendors and then they're the janitors. Yes.
They held a jobs fair at St. Sabina Church on the south side. St. Sabina. Who's there?
Father Flager.
Listing openings for food service workers, cooks, general utility workers, and custodial service workers. The flyer advertising the event?
Yeah.
Background friendly, no drug test.
Background friendly, no drug test.
Yeah.
And they're applying for positions inside our schools.
Right. And what was one of the things that the Tribune found in their expose?
They didn't do background checks. I mean, they did to get in, but once they were hired, they never followed up with any background checks.
Aramark
so people have committed felonies, and they're still teachers.
Aramark has a $260 million contract with CPS. Hires a lot of people inside the schools.
What's that number again? 200 million?
$260 million. Sean from Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, Dan, what's the alternative to heckling these people? I've taken pride in the fact I've heckled every chance I get, except that one time I saw Rahm Emanuel. I should have thrown him like a yard dart, even with his 2 truckloads of security, because, you know, that's how he travels.
Right.
2
sometimes he
truckloads.
has 3, dear.
Yeah, with these coppers all dolled up in their $3,000 evangelist suits. How do these scoundrels get their job?
You should see their cars.
Of course, just like the teachers with the big Lexus, like they're actual businessmen. Like they actually do something with their life rather than sit on their pension like a hard-boiled egg and wait for it to hatch. That's what they do. So the answer is yes, heckle, and heckle both sides. Not just the Democrats, these slimy, scumball Republicans who hide in the shadows and just want a piece of that contract you're talking about. See, they're not too offended at it, Dan. They just want their cut. Cut me in or cut it out. That's what an Illinois Republican is. So it's time to heckle both of them. And you should treat them like you treat this convict. Throw them off a cliff. I'm telling you, we're not half the men our grandfathers were. You think they would have tolerated this? They'd have went to City Hall with a 2x4, and that's what would have happened. In the meantime, I got what? I got Pete Silvestri and Quigley riding a unicorn together. That's what's really going on.
Thanks for the call, Sean. I think Sean from Elmwood Park could be our side's version of Michelangelo Signorelli in Act Up.
Yes,
I think
so.
maybe like some sort of protest shame match between Sean and Michelangelo Signorelli would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of City Hall, guess who was in town yesterday?
Oh, who?
Don Jr.
Oh, Donald Trump Jr., yes.
Did not have Kimberly Guilfoyle in tow, as far as I know.
And what was he doing here? Checking out his property?
He went to talk to that public drunk, the alderman from my ward, Brendan Riley, about...
Did they meet at Boss Bar?
Well, that's what I assume. That's his office. They wanted to talk about reactivating the retail space in Trump Tower, and and I hope Don Jr. enjoyed Boss Bar. Stephen Winfield.
It's been driven to the ground because of all the protesters.
Trump Tower.
Trump Tower, the retail.
Not Boss Bar.
No, Boss Bar is fine. It's expanding.
Stephen Winfield.
Hello.
Hey, you're on.
Hi. I just had a comment on what you're saying about conservatives getting out and being activists and stuff like the liberals. I work like 12 hours a day, and I've got a family with kids at home. And I think a lot of conservatives are in the same boat. We don't have time to do that kind of thing. We've got responsibilities. We're living life. We're doing our jobs. And we're liberals, if they're on welfare or they're rich kids hanging out at college or whatever, they got nothing better to do than to go out and cause trouble. And I think that's probably why you see that liberals are doing that kind of thing more than conservatives are.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, it's going to be a hot one. Heat advisory goes into effect at 11 o'clock this morning and will last throughout the weekend. High today of 96 degrees, but if you factor in the heat index, it will feel like 105 out there. Tonight, clear, warm, a low of 80. Is that right? Yes, it is. And then Saturday, another hot day, heat index of 105. On Sunday, sun, some clouds, possible passing shower or thunderstorm, a high of 92 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Dominic Fortini, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Outbound Eden's got a stalled vehicle right near Lake, 25 minutes. Montrose out to Lake Cook, also picking up some steam with delays on the inbound Kennedy. Looking at the heaviest point between Division and the Burns Circle, 38 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 27 in from the junction, 25 in the inbound Express. Watch for brake lights on the inbound Lake, North Avenue and the Tri-State, but thicker between First Avenue and Independence. An hour 1 in from Thorndale, 43 in from Manheim. Slowdowns continue on the inbound Stevenson, usual spots, central to Kedzie. 48 in from 355, 38 in from the Tri-State. Also have some hang-ups to work around. Inbound Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th in a downtown. Starting to see some brake lights in the express lanes back at 43rd. The locals, you get tied up right about 31st. Northbound Lakeshore, heavy around Soldier Field. And big, thick traffic delays on the northbound side of the Tri-State. Your stop and go southwest highway to 31st. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Smokers, are you one of the millions of people who want to quit smoking because of health problems, expenses, or maybe you're just tired of the smell of smoke on your clothes and breath? Transform your life now with new Sig-Free Smartband. Sig-Free is an automated wearable smartband for smokers who want an all-natural, healthy, and affordable non-nicotine, non-invasive solution to quitting. Sig-Free is a technology-driven solution, freeing you from the dangers of smoking without doctor's exams or the side effects of drugs and nicotine replacement products. Just wear Sig-Free, answer your phone, and listen to your self-help messages. Your friends and family will love you for it, and they'll smell the difference. Become Sig-Free, and you can tell everyone, I morphed from a smoker to a healthier non-smoker.
For more information, go to imorphed.com. That's imorphed.com. imorphed.com. imorphed.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it. Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up, with the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, Who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Right now, are you sitting in your home afraid to go out in public? Afraid to be seen in a restaurant? Afraid to talk or smile knowing those dentures will fall out at any minute? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we can handle all your worries. We have a complete in-house denture lab, and we're here to help you smile and eat with all the confidence again. Every day I see folks like Mary, whose family didn't know where else to turn. Mary's been losing weight and wouldn't eat with her ill-fitting dentures. After talking with Mary, we realized that not only did her denture not fit well, but she hated the way it made her look. We fabricated a new denture that day, and we designed it with Mary's concerns in mind. The smile on her face when we finished conveyed the greatest feeling of all. Mary not only looked beautiful, but she was happy and couldn't wait to get downstairs and hit the restaurant. Mary is happy and her family is happy. That's what we do for our patients. We change their lives. Call us at 847-244-4000 for your free consultation. Don't hide in your house any longer. Enjoy your summer with a new smile and a new outlook on life. Again, call us at 847-244-4000. We are located in Gurnee at Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. Excellence in Dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Deputy Attorney General Nathan Thurmond is not being defensive. You're being defensive. It's not him, it's you. At 7:37.
And later, why Dan is single and not married. Let me introduce you to Samantha Ray. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's a stable Mike Scott.
Stable as you can be on a Friday. 74 degrees, dangerous heat. Hitting Chicagoland today, National Weather Service says temps could top out in the upper 90s, heat index values soaring to around 115. The man accused of shooting 5 people to death at a Maryland newspaper is charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. The suspect, 38-year-old Jared Ramos, scheduled to be in court this morning in Annapolis, Maryland. The social media postings of the alleged gunman in yesterday's deadly shooting at a newspaper office shows a long history of complaints and legal actions against the newspaper. This man lives near the suspect, Jared Ramos, and was shocked to hear about his neighbor's alleged behavior.
I think where you live is the safest place around, and then you have to think that a suspected murderer lives in your neighborhood. That doesn't give you much confidence now.
A Twitter account associated with Ramos has years of posts targeting the paper. Capitol Police say 575 Women's March protesters have been arrested on Capitol Hill, including Academy Award-winning actress Susan Sarandon.
I know as a mother, if I didn't know where my kids were, if my kids didn't know where I was, it would be so dramatic. So we can't let it fade and become normal. We can't let it become something that's inevitable.
Thousands of over 1,000 people gathered at the Senate Thursday to protest immigration policy. House Republicans are demanding more documents in the Russia investigation. A non-binding resolution passed yesterday demands that the Justice Department fully comply with congressional demands. Fire crews in Northern California are beginning to get a handle on the raging Pawnee fire. It's now 50% contained northwest of Sacramento. Reverend Michael Pfleger refusing to call off a peace march on the Dan Ryan Expressway next month in spite of pleas from the Chicago Police Department. Authorities believe they may have found the vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash last weekend in Oswego that killed a local high school softball coach. And the Illinois Commerce Commission is expected to rule in a matter of weeks on whether to pull the state license of a troubled Chicago towing company, Lincoln Towing. Cubs beat the Dodgers at 11-5, while the Twins outlast the White Sox in 13, 2-1. The Bulls may have some competition for restricted free agent Zach LaVine. Tribune says the Kings are interested. Fire welcome the New York City FC to Toyota Park tomorrow as the World Cup continues. The news, a service of Compassion International. For just 5 quarters a day, you can sponsor a child through Compassion International. It's pocket change to you, life-changing for a child in need. Be part of the change. Become a sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager, The Dennis Prager Show.
One of the reasons that there are no competing goods for the left on this issue is they don't really care if we are inundated with illegal immigrants. That's one reason. Another reason is everything is seen in the prism of how can it hurt this administration.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you, my dear.
America is falling in love with Mr. Rogers again. Entertainment Weekly raves it's the movie we need right now.
Fred's theology was love your neighbor and love yourself. It was a communication right into their hearts.
Mr. Rogers' faith has inspired us all.
Thank you for whatever you do to bring joy and faith to our world today.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now in theaters everywhere.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
It is 7:35 on AM 560, and that means it's time for a dry basement and a healthy home, and time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And time to go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and get the latest with Dominic Fortini.
Roads heating up across the Chicago area. Outbound Edens had that earlier stall near Lake, 27 minutes Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound Kennedy, 35 minutes in from O'Hare, 25 in from the junction, a half hour on the inbound express lane. You'll also encounter a slow Ohio feeder ramp. Outbound delays from the junction out to Sayre, 30 minutes downtown out to O'Hare. Hang-ups on the inbound Ike begin at First Avenue, an hour 1 in from Thorndale, 43 in from Manheim. Inbound Stevenson a little bit tight from Central to Kedzie, 48 in from 355. Hang-ups on the inbound Ryan cost you time about 31st in the locals, 33 minutes, 95th into downtown. We've got thick traffic northbound Tri-State. Tied up between Southwest Highway and 31st. Also on the northbound side, you've got a stall blocking the left center lane right near the 83rd Street Toll Plaza. This traffic report is a service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America Take Steps Walk program is dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To find a walk site near you, visit www.cctakesteps.org. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Temperatures near the record of 97. A humid day ahead with sunshine and a high of 96. Currently 74. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And yesterday, you had FBI Director Christopher Wray and Deputy Attorney General Nathan Thurm, a.k.a. Rod Rosenstein, before the House Judiciary Committee to answer questions, well, particularly in Rosenstein's case, about the state of the investigation, the Russian collusion investigation, as well as, for both of them, the document production that members of the House continue to demand from Justice and the FBI that they don't feel they've gotten. And that was the subject of the exchange between Jim Jordan, who was a state champion high school wrestler.
Did the half Nelson on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
he had the singlet on, too, and the ear protector.
He was ready to go to war. There's no question. He wants to know where are those documents. Why won't you give me my documents?
Mr. Rosenstein, why are you keeping information from Congress?
Congressman, I am not keeping any information from Congress that it's appropriate.
In a few minutes, Mr. Rosenstein, I think the House of Representatives is going to say something different.
I don't agree with you, Congressman. I don't believe that's what they're going to say, and if they do, they'll
be mistaken. I disagree, but I think in a few minutes the House of Representatives is going to go on record saying you haven't complied with requests from a separate and equal branch of government, that you haven't complied with subpoenas, and you got 7 days to get your act together. I think that's what's going to happen in a few. And that's not Jim Jordan. I think that's a majority of the House of Representatives. In just a few minutes, I think that's going to happen. And I want to know why you won't give us what we've asked for.
Sir, I certainly hope that your colleagues are not under that impression. That is not accurate, sir. And
It is accurate. We have caught you hiding
Mr.
information,
Chairman, can we allow the witness to
your
answer?
use of this to attack me personally
Why did you?
is
It's not
deeply
a
wrong.
personal.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. May the witness be permitted to answer the question?
It's not personal.
You seem defensive.
I'm not being defensive. You're the one who's being defensive. Why is it always the other person who's being defensive? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why don't you ask yourself that?
I like congressional hearings that have a laugh track.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah, I think
it
it's
reminded me
appropriate.
of a scene from Churchill. Remember that movie?
Would you stop interrupting me while I am interrupting you?
Yeah.
Oh,
a
you.
little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I liked your laugh track better. Fine.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah. I mean, it's there was a lot of talking over and a lot of efforts by who is it? Sheila Jackson Lee, I think. Is she on the House Judiciary Committee?
I don't know if she knows if she's on the House Judiciary Committee.
I think
she's
was
on
her.
the House Judiciary Committee.
I believe so. She was trying to intervene with these phrases she's heard from Robert's Rules of Order, but she really doesn't understand what they mean or know their application. So anyway, it was a bit of a free-for-all because it got particularly heated. And then Rosenstein was just treated to an ear cleaning from Trey Gowdy, who is, I think, at his wit's end with respect to both FBI and DOJ, at least the upper echelon personnel, particularly DOJ and Mr. Rosenstein. And I don't think he's going to be rallying to the defense of them anytime soon. He wants this thing over.
Russia attacked this country. They should be the target, but Russia isn't being hurt by this investigation right now. We are. This country is being hurt by it. We are being divided. We've seen the bias. We've seen the bias. We need to see the evidence. If you have evidence of wrongdoing by any member of the Trump campaign, present it to the damn grand jury. If you have evidence that this president acted inappropriately, present it to the American people. There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart.
And finish it up before he's out of office.
No, finish it the hell up.
I mean, and it was a more relaxed, like disheveled Trey Gowdy.
Yeah, but Trey Gowdy was.
He shaved his that beard he had on the other day.
He was hella mad though.
But
you know how sexy he is when
his
he's mad.
tousled hair, he was ready to go. He's laid back in the chairs, like finish the hell up.
He looked like
he looked great. That's the best look he's had yet.
He looked like he could be a member of 98 Degrees.
I mean, he may be starting a boy band.
Possible he is retiring. We don't know exactly what he's going to do. It's possible.
Have you ever seen him
I think it'd be great.
in that way before? In that light? If you haven't checked it out, you need to see his new look.
Whatever you got, present it to the damn grand jury and wrap it the hell up. You with Trey Gowdy on this one? 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA turnkey.pro text line, or should we give Nathan Thurm a little bit more time?
Why would I feel any remorse? Since when is it wrong to do your job? I don't understand.
Well, people were blacklisted. They were denied a right to make a living.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
I think they were.
Of course they were.
I know that. You don't think I know that? I was on the committee. I would know that. Can you believe how boring he is?
Well, Rosenstein, not very convincing, I got to say, in response to Gowdy. No. Gowdy went on also to essentially remark upon the Horowitz report in the context of this conversation about the state of the investigation and document production and lack of evidence.
He was talking about impeachment
and Peter Strzok.
Within 3 days of Special Counsel Mueller being appointed. 3 days. That's even quicker than MSNBC and the Democrats were talking about impeaching. Within 3 days, the lead FBI agent is talking about impeaching the president. We're a year and a half into the presidency. We're over a year into special counsel. You have a counterintelligence investigation that's become public. You have a criminal investigation that's become political. You have more bias than I have ever seen manifest in a law enforcement officer in the 20 years I used to do it for a living. And 4 other DOJ employees who had manifest animus towards the person they were supposed to be neutrally and detachedly investigating. Democrats are using this investigation as a presumption of guilt, which I find astonishing. And in the long run, for the health of this republic, I would encourage them to go back to the presumption of innocence that we used to hold sacred. There's a presumption of guilt. There's a desire by Democrat senators to fundraise off of your investigation. More than 60 Democrats have already voted to proceed with impeachment before Bob Mueller has found a single solitary damn thing.
He's al fuego.
He was on fire yesterday. It was very good.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick question.
Ralph and Rantoul.
Good morning. I'm tired of the process not being followed, both sides. I'm really sick of documents not being turned over, slow walked. I'm still waiting for Eric Holder to be prosecuted for Fast and Furious. I'm waiting for Lois Lerner to be prosecuted for Koskinen, for Hillary to be locked up. I mean, again, I've called before, and I'm just disgusted that there's two sets of laws. One for those in Washington and the people who are supposed to be running this country according to our Constitution, and for everybody else, right? I don't know how Rosenstein can sit there and keep his job and slow walk, obstruct, and otherwise not cooperate with an investigation. I don't trust any of those guys. I think that Mueller and the entire cabal over there ought to be thrown in a cell someplace in contempt until they finish what they're supposed to be doing. Lock them in a room. Make them finish.
All right, thanks for the call, Ralph. I got to tell you, the thing that's bizarre, and I wish one of the members of the House Judiciary Committee or Nunez over at Intel would explain this. Again, a week ago Friday, you had this private meeting, Speaker Ryan, Gowdy, Nunez, others, with Ray, Rosenstein, others, where you talked about the requests that haven't been honored from the perspective of House Republicans, including Speaker Ryan, by the way. And then we were on a week deadline towards the end of last week for the production of the documents to occur. Otherwise, the House was going to take action against at least the Department of Justice, it would seem. There's some indications by Nunez that they would go so far as to move an article of impeachment against Rosenstein. And yet we're still, their testimony before House Judiciary yesterday, doing this dance back and forth with them saying, we want the documents to be requested, and Rosenstein says we have complied, or in the process of full compliance, we're hiding nothing. Well, which is it? I guess we need more specificity, so we have like a punch list we can go down and say, we want this, did we get it? Yes or no? We want this, did we get it? Yes or no?
There's talk between Jim Jordan and Rosenstein about phone calls, and Rosenstein said you can't subpoena phone calls, and then people started laughing. It was just...
But Jordan was referencing a media report about Rosenstein ostensibly threatening members of Congress to go after them if they're going to go after him with respect to document production. So, I mean, it's just more of this descent into silliness. Just get real specific and real public about what you want and what you don't have. I mean, let's get to a conclusion here. Tim and Carrie.
Hi, Dan and Amy. First-time caller here.
Oh, great.
I couldn't agree any more with Trey Gowdy here. We need more people like him in Congress. Exactly. Finish it the hell up and get it over with. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tim. I'm sorry to tell you he's leaving to join a boy band. David and McCook.
And I'm going to buy the album or download it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you say a boy band? That just ruined my image of him.
Yeah.
Well, he looks hip and he's ready to go. He's in shape.
I'm a huge fan of Trey Gowdy. I hate to see him go. He calls a spade, and he doesn't treat these fools with kid gloves like most of these politicians do. Most of them are full of hot air.
Thanks for the call, David.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, it's our favorite segment.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
No. That is...
Time now.
All right, make it stop. Thank you. Plenty of sunshine and hot weather. Honestly, when I hear that, I feel nauseous. Don't.
You know what I think of? I think of Whoopi Goldberg's for JJ when I hear that.
I'm not kidding. Stop it. Hot today. Heat index of 105. It's ridiculous. With plenty of sunshine. Tonight, a low of 80. And then tomorrow, Saturday, near record temperatures. Humid, sunshine, a high of 97. Heat index of 105. We are under a heat advisory starting at 11 a.m. today and lasting through the weekend. Don't press any buttons over there. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Dominic Fortini in for Jim Telemonte.
35 minutes on the inbound side of the Kennedy this morning, in from O'Hare. 25 in from the junction, a half hour on the inbound express lanes. Most of that delay happening after Montrose through the Burns Circle. Inbound side of the Eisenhower, an hour 1 in from Thorndale with backups north of the Tri-State, but even slower between 1st Avenue and Independence. 43 in from Manheim. Stevenson in, slowing central to Kedzie, 52 minutes in from 355, 42 in from the Tri-State. Outbound delays LaGrange out to the Tri-State, 38 minutes from Lakeshore to 355. Inbound Ryan getting busier at 35th with delays through the Burns Circle, 36 minutes in from 95th. I-57 Bishop Ford looking all right, but northbound Lakeshore Drive backing up near the Stevenson. We've got some thick delays northbound Tri-State. Southwest Highway to 82nd, then again between 88 and the Jane Addams. Southbound 355 backs up right near the Boughton Toll Plaza. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Christian Faith Publishing helps thousands of authors publish their books with a company dedicated to strong Christian values.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
It all starts with our free author submission kit. Call 800-566-1012. We'll edit, design, copyright protect, print, and distribute books online and in bookstores everywhere. You'll see your books in Christian bookstores, Amazon, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, and many others. If you have a biography, novel, devotional, self-help, or other inspirational work, we get it published. We provide professional book editing, award-winning design, with the highest royalty structure in the industry. Plus, you retain 100% rights to your work. Get your book published today. Call for your free author submission kit at 800-566-1012. That's 800-566-1012. 800-566-1012.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on working with couples in their late 50s to early 60s, preparing them to retire with confidence. So what exactly should they be doing differently at this stage of their lives?
Mike, you really have two big jobs to do right now. The first one is protect what you have. Don't have a big loss. Number two, begin developing a dependable, sustainable income stream that you can count on for the rest of your life. So you know how you're going to pay your bills, you can keep from running out of money, and you can leave a legacy. That's retiring with confidence. Mike, I know you're going to talk about this in just a moment, but for the next 5 couples who call in today who have at least $500,000 in their retirement portfolio, we're going to do on a complimentary basis a full-blown retirement plan for them.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for upstream-ideas.com. I don't think Plato had former CIA Director General Michael Hayden's tweet comparing Trump immigration policy to the Birkenau death camp at Auschwitz in mind when he conceived of the Noble Lie. Nor would Plato likely place under the Noble Lie header the D.C. Press Corps' magical storytelling about a 2-year-old Time magazine cover girl who was separated from her father in Honduras by her mother, but never separated from her mother by Border Patrol or anyone named Trump, not even Peter Fonda's nemesis Barron. The lies told by elites these days are intended to foment social unrest, not cohesion. The ignoble truth is that today's elites cover their tracks by feeding the public supersized whoppers to stunt their appetites for edifying information and dull their attention spans. Never mind that the fix was in at FBI. See Trump's criticism of Comey as a veiled predicate to martial law. Never mind that family separation was not new policy at the border and that only the enforcement of it was new. Instead, understand this as an existential battle not for border security, but against bigotry. In other news, Paul Manafort has pled guilty to a violent crime for which he was not charged. ABC News reports.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, I want to tell you about this sweet little girl named Samantha Ray Mears. She's
you have to set up the where's the theme music? You have to set up the segment.
Well, this is the segment.
I want to hear the jingle.
All right.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
When we feature women like this, it's hard, it's hard to imagine that you'd be single. 19-year-old girl, Samantha Ray Mears. They live in Great Falls, Montana, and she was dating this guy for 7 years. He broke up with her. She wasn't too happy about it, so she broke into her ex-boyfriend's apartment on Friday. He was, out. Then he returned home, and when he came home, she jumped out of the closet, had a machete, told him to take his clothes off, and that he had to have sex with her. So he did it thinking, oh, my gosh, just make this stop. So he complied. Then she bit him, tried to have sex with him again. Then an argument ensued, and he said Mears got up onto his bed, pulled down her pants, and peed all over his bed.
Swing! Swing!
He took pictures of her holding the machete as evidence. He pretended to call his friend Doug, but really was calling 911. She's been arrested and charged.
That's funny.
True love.
No, you know what? That's funny.
That is love, man.
Because that's a little bit of, Randy role-playing. Or what I like to call Dan Proft date package number 4.
I have to hear it again.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
So you have a story, too.
I have my own contribution, yeah. I don't know if you saw this video. We can't really replay it, the cell phone video that a motorist took on I-95 in Florida. He looked over to his left, and he saw Mercedes driving in his blind spot and then, slowly inching up on him. The thing he noticed about the Mercedes, though, was there was a gentleman on the hood because...
holding on for dear life?
It turned out Patricia Isidore and her boyfriend, Junior Francis, got into a bit of an argument. She left, climbed into her car, and he ran out to try and stop her, jumped on the hood. That didn't stop her. She continued. And she persisted. She got onto I-95.
Oh, my gosh.
And you see
everything in Florida. That's the main thoroughfare.
And you see the motorist who's filming all this. He shows you a picture of what's happening next to him. Then he shows you a picture of his speedometer where he's going 70 and she's keeping pace with him.
Did he survive?
He did survive the 19-mile Sunday night drive they took with him on the hood. The reason he survived is because not wanting to rely on a good Samaritan, he pulled out his phone while he's holding onto the hood, traveling at 70 miles an hour. He called 911 and told the police operator that his girlfriend was swerving the car, and I'm on top of the car, and I could really use some help.
Wait, I have one question. Are they still together, though?
Yeah, that was not included in the police report. But, I mean, look.
These things happen.
You're going to have spats. You get...
it's a process of, developing a relationship.
The important thing is you can't hold a grudge.
Or a machete and keep your pants on. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump at Foxconn at 8:08.
And now let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Dangerous heat hitting Chicagoland this weekend. Authorities find a suspected vehicle in an Oswego hit and run. Cubs crushed the Dodgers with a 7-run seventh. Twins topped the White Sox on a bases-loaded walk in the 13th. High near 97 today. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
He's facing 5 first-degree murder charges. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The man accused in the shooting that left 5 dead at a Maryland newspaper due in court next hour.
I want to know why he thinks he did this. That's a biggie for us.
And Arundel County Police Chief Timothy Altamare says Jared Ramos isn't cooperating.
We know he had a history of threatening this paper on social media, on Twitter, in a defamation lawsuit from 5 years ago in which the newspaper had written an article about his conviction in a harassment case. The woman that he targeted telling officials at one point that Ramos will be your next massive shooter.
Fox's Griff Jenkins outside the Capitol Gazette, which did put out an edition this morning.
You see on the opinion page, it's blank. They say we are speechless. They will resume tomorrow.
There's been a protest against ICE and the president's immigration policy for days in Portland, Oregon. And in Washington, D.C., a big demonstration of women outside a Senate office building. Nearly 600 were arrested, including a congresswoman, as they chanted, "Abolish ICE." Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, it's more than a rallying cry. Abolish ICE is becoming a movement, and it's getting the attention of some Democrats in Congress. Acting ICE Director Tom Homan says ICE officers are being vilified.
ICE doesn't separate families on the border. That's the Border Patrol. We're a different agency. So they need to get their facts straight and inform themselves what's actually happening.
Protests against ICE stepped up as the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy went into effect, prosecuting all illegal border crossers, leading to family separation at the southern border. Dave.
Rachel, meanwhile, Vice President Pence is in Central America urging the leaders of El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to stop the exodus of migrants from their countries.
Driven by the misguided belief that they can ignore the laws of the United States and enter our nation without consequences.
Pence says most claim asylum, but few are actually fleeing persecution. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 76 degrees. At 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. It's a dangerous heat wave hitting Chicagoland this weekend. Today alone, temps in the upper 90s with heat index values as high as 115. An excessive heat watch goes into effect at 11 a.m. A Brazilian mother gets her wish after her 9-year-old son was ordered released from a Chicago shelter for unaccompanied children of illegal immigrants. Lydia Souza and Diogo were reunited yesterday, and Souza discussed plans for the future now that she's back with her son.
I intend to go home, work, and just be able to be by my child's side and just live a good life with him.
The mother and child plan to live in the Boston area. CTA employee remains in critical condition after he fell onto the Red Line tracks at the 95th Street station yesterday. Service was halted for a time. Authorities believe they may have found the vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash last weekend in Oswego that killed a local popular high school softball coach. Kendall County sheriffs say they've located that silver 2006 Chrysler Pacifica. Amanda Stanton was found dead Sunday near Plainfield Road in Plainsman Court. A Chicago man is accused of swiping more than $600,000 in an April armored truck heist in Hammond. Akeem Jackson appeared in court yesterday on a charge of Hobbs Act robbery. Investigators believe he's one of 3 who knocked over that Brinks armored truck at gunpoint while the driver was servicing an ATM. Cubs beat the Dodgers 11-5. Twins over the White Sox 2-1 in 13. A 666 carded by Sung-Hyun Park leads the Women's PGA Championship at Kemper Lakes in Killdeer. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Anna Wells.
From the Fox Business Network, California's Attorney General is suing the nation's largest student loan processor. The state claims that Delaware-based Navient Corp is hurting consumers by failing to properly service federal student loans. Navient calls the allegations unfounded. According to the Department of Education, about 4.6 million Americans were in default on their student loans as of December. Could your smartphone be mining Bitcoin for criminals? So-called crypto-jacking attacks have become a growing problem in the cybersecurity industry. Hackers put malicious software on phones, smart TVs, and smart refrigerators that makes them mine for digital money. Victims may only notice a slight drop in processing power, often not enough for them to think that it's a hacking attack. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Anna Wells.
It's 8:04 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder, The Larry Elder Show.
That wouldn't be Chuck Schumer in 2014, would it be?
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
I have a question. I've asked this before. It is a rhetorical question. Do you honestly believe if 80% of illegals turned citizens turned voters would likely vote Republican, we'd have this problem?
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, nothing says summer like the smell of a grill, a delicious handcrafted burger, and a cold beer or cocktail. The Country House has been providing just that for over 40 years. Their 3 great locations in Lisle, Clarendon Hills, and Geneva offers great hospitality in a casual neighborhood setting. Try their award-winning Country Burger, half pound of fresh chuck, grilled to perfection and served on dark rye. Country House has several other choices for burgers like bison, elk, turkey, and veggie, and their top drawer burger blends short rib, chuck, and brisket for an unmatched taste. Take your time looking over the daily specials while you enjoy the spacious deck in Geneva or hang out on the patio in Lisle. And don't forget to join the House Rewards program at Country House and earn points while you dine. All new signups will be entered into a drawing for tickets to see the Northsiders versus the Southsiders. Country House. Visit burger1.com. That's burgerone.com.
The warmth of sun is here for you to enjoy the great outdoors. Feel like an instant getaway with a beach vibe and fun for the entire family? There's a place nearby you're going to want to check out. Bridges Waterside Grill and Bridge Inn in Michigan City, Indiana. Bridge Inn is the perfect place for your Lake Michigan escape. Amazing attractions like the Uptown Arts District, boutique shopping, beaches, the zoo, casino, and museums are all in walking distance. Bridge Inn offers year-round lodging, but you can take in the sunshine at the Bridges Waterside Grill through September. Grab a cocktail and dine on fish tacos, burgers, and wraps with lots of vegetarian and seafood options. Book one of 14 suites at Bridge Inn before summer sells out. Bridges is located near the rotating train bridge on the Trail Creek waterfront in the heart of Michigan City. Don't visit Michigan City without stopping by the Bridge Inn and Bridges Waterside Grill. For more info and availability, visit bridgeinnmc.com. That's bridgeinnmc.com.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales
director
you're looking for. But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
It is 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Dominic Fortini.
In Naperville, 95th is still closed between Route 59 and Reflection Drive. This is all because of an overnight crash. Also, CTA Blue Line service, Forest Park bound Blue Line train standing at Cumberland because of a mechanical issue on a train. Personnel on the scene working to restore that service. Better allow some extra time if the CTA Blue Line is your trip inbound to the city. Inbound Kennedy, 35 minutes in from O'Hare, 25 in from the Junction, 28 in the inbound Express. The bulk of that delay, Irving Park into Randolph. On the outbound side, schedule 34 minutes downtown out to O'Hare. Thick delays, inbound Ike, 57 minutes from Thorndale in, 40 in from Manheim. Outbound, looking at some great tail lights between the Tri-State and St. Charles. Inbound Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th into downtown. Hangups begin right about 35th into the Burns Circle. Also seeing heavy traffic southbound Tri-State between 190 and the O'Hare Oasis. And the earlier stall, northbound Tri-State near the 83rd Street Toll Plaza, has been cleared. Backups remain back to 111th. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Brian May.
Hot and humid today with plenty of sunshine, high 95. Warm and humid tonight with clear skies, low 80. Tomorrow, near record temperatures and humid with sunshine, high 97. Sunday, clouds and sun, humid, high 88. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
78 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump was north of the Cheese Curtain yesterday in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, to visit Foxconn, world's largest electrical contractor. And
it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
President Trump called it the eighth wonder of the world as he stood in front of the
Foxconn facility.
The Foxconn facility and the little miniature, what it's going to look like,
Yeah, and
a little town where our Democratic politicians live.
Well, it's sort of celebrating foreign investment in this country.
Yep.
Foxconn, a Taiwanese company, and also there was Masa-san, who is the head of SoftBank, this huge Japanese conglomerate. And you remember early on when, shortly before, right after Trump was inaugurated, there was the announcement, I think it might have been right before he was inaugurated, the announcement that SoftBank was making a $50 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing to generate 50,000 new jobs. And apparently that's already been exceeded. Masa-san was there for this event at Foxconn, and Trump brought him on stage.
Just before I became official president, right. I think I was the first CEO came to celebrate you. It's true. It's true. And I said $50 billion investment and 50,000 jobs to the United States. Because I said, no, I couldn't have decided such a thing before this new president. Because I said, now I see the passion, I see the opportunity, I'm more energized, so I made a voluntarily promise. And now I'm very happy. We're making great success, and I said, I have one more thing to promise, which is Foxconn. That's right. So those three things I promised, and I did not have official permission from Terry, but I promised.
We brought him along, right?
Yes.
We brought him along.
But I'm so happy today that my promise came to true. So this is a great historical moment because I think United States did not have the ecosystem for new technology last 20 years. And now this is the beginning of new ecosystem of high-tech manufacturing back into the United States.
Yeah, there's definitely reason for celebration. The Terry he is referring to, of course, is Terry Gao, who's the CEO of Foxconn, the largest electronics manufacturer in the world. So you have the combination of this huge investment by Masa-san and SoftBank and Foxconn, this massive manufacturer locating in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, and the rollout of their facility yesterday. So, with Trump, like with so many things, it's uneven. You can argue with his protectionist trade policies and pronouncements on trade, his obsession with trade deficits, which is just not the overriding concern with respect to American competitiveness, American growth, job creation, productivity increases. You can argue with that on the one hand, and I do, but then also recognize these are huge wins for the president and for this administration, and it also signals that there is not a hostility to the outside world and to foreign investment. It's more this argument about free versus free and fair. But yesterday was a good day for the president on that score, particularly with the problems we've had and the market reaction and the sort of feedback loop over the last several weeks because of the ratcheting up of the tariff talk.
So, yeah, we should welcome in more foreign investors. I mean, 15,000 jobs, that's a big deal.
50.
Yeah. Oh, 50,000?
50.
Okay.
Yeah, 50,000 jobs.
Trump tweeted that it will provide 15,000 Wisconsin workers.
Well, I'm talking. Oh, Foxconn is 15. I'm talking about. Yeah, remember
the whole.
Yeah, the SoftBank commitment was 50, and Trump said in his introduction of Masa Son that they're exceeding the initial commitment that he made, and you heard Masa Son say the three things I've promised, and Foxconn was the last one, and I've delivered. In conjunction with Terry Gao and Foxconn on all three of them. And so a nice day. Maybe someday we'll have one of those nice days here in Illinois.
Can you imagine if we had manufacturing jobs brought to Illinois?
We're not really in the manufacturing business anymore. We're in the business
government?
Of growing government.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe
but the number one employer in Illinois is government, or
well, there's more government jobs than manufacturing jobs. That distinguishes us from our Midwest neighbors.
That's a problem. And how many superintendents are in the state of Illinois compared to Florida?
Well, we have
school districts and
we have something like 850 school districts to Florida's
65,
70. Yeah, right, rough numbers. Yeah, so it's just a very different philosophy in Illinois versus the rest of the Midwest. But it's just nice to remark upon that progress and remembering press release type pronouncements, including from industrialists like those at SoftBank, that actually are delivered upon to the benefit of American families, and this is one instance.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, President Trump is going to meet the Queen. Yes, Queen Elizabeth. What could go wrong? We'll tell you about that. But first, here's your forecast. That was a really bad British accent, by the way. Temperatures near the record high of 97 with the heat index. That'll feel like 105 around here. An excessive heat warning goes into effect in a few hours. Stays throughout the weekend. Saturday, again, near record temperatures. Humid, plenty of sunshine. 97, but 105 heat index. And on Sunday, sunny intervals. Quick passing shower, thunderstorm possible. Humid, a high of 92. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any high travel times? Here's Dominic Fortini, who's in for Jim Telemonte. Here he is. He's thinking about it. Dominic, going once. Dominic going twice. Dominic,
The following is a paid political.
Really working for? As a U.S. Senator, we pay him $174,000 a year. So, Donnelly's taxpayer-funded salary is almost 3 times more than a typical Hoosier family makes. But that wasn't enough for Donnelly. Donnelly took more. His family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. Mexico Joe profited up to $80,000. And a past safety inspection of Donnelly's family business found serious safety violations that put its Hoosier workers in danger. A 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary. His family's business caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico, risking American jobs. Mexico Joe Donnelly profits with tens of thousands. Vote no on Mexico Joe. He's just not working for Indiana. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it. Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about Foxconn, Trump's visit to that facility opening yesterday. Real quick, Mark and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. I heard yesterday afternoon, unless I'm crazy, that Lisa Madigan, within minutes of the Trump-Foxconn meeting, filed suit to stop Foxconn because she said it would have too much of an impact on Lake Michigan. And I had once before contacted her office when she went after BP Amico. If she is so concerned about Lake Michigan, would she sue the city of Chicago, for instance, that every time they have a huge rain, they open the deep tunnel and dump billions of gallons of raw sewage into Lake Michigan, which then results within days or weeks of shutting down beaches along Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois because of E. coli coming up on the beaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I think, Mark? I think it's so cute when Lisa Madigan pretends to be a lawyer. I just think she's so cute. Thanks for the call, Mark. Here's the thing.
Well, yeah, it says 7 million gallons a day from Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
That's how much they need?
I'm going to miss her so. Here, we had an issue yesterday with the left's reaction to the announcement that Anthony Kennedy is retiring, and of course Trump will have a nomination to put forward by July 11th. A nomination before the NATO summit is what is being telegraphed, Wall Street Journal reporting that, and Mitch McConnell already saying expects a vote in the fall. So they're going to move this along, despite, of course, the protestations from the left that they wait until after the midterms. And the ladies of The View
were
particularly concerned about this, Whoopi Goldberg especially.
Because I have to tell you, as a woman, I think you're trying to take my rights away. That's right. Okay? You don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as a person who believes in the Constitution, which tells me that I have the right to be myself and do the things I want to do, and I don't have to listen to what your religion is, and I don't have to listen to what you want it to be. I have to make sure that as an American citizen, I'm doing the right stuff and taking care of business. I don't like this line that I, as a Democrat or an independent or whatever, is trying to take away anything from you. I'm trying to hold on to my personal rights so that you can have the rights you want. See, because if you take mine, I feel like you're the one with the problem. If you take my right away from me to judge what I do for my family and my body, I got a little problem with that. You got a problem. You don't want people to take your guns. Well, get out of my behind. Get out of my vagina. Get out of here.
Get out of her vagina. Oh, no. Earlier, Joy Behar learned about the balance of power. Joy Behar learned about the balance of power, a civics lesson, a history lesson from Meghan McCain.
Thomas Jefferson and James Madison are rolling over in their grave today. What happened to separation of powers? What happened to checks and balances in this country? Gone.
Yeah.
Well, Democrats.
Behar. Okay, I think I'm all right.
As I was saying, Joy Behar learned something from Meghan McCain about, consequences of elections. None of you supported Hillary. It's all your fault.
I know it's easy sometimes to watch Trump and think that the world is coming to an end, but elections have consequences. And last night, Amber Tamblyn was tweeting about all the Democrats like Susan Sarandon who thought that they couldn't possibly vote for Hillary Clinton because I think her direct quote was the revolution would come.
I'm furious
How do you
with her
feel
too.
now? How do
And
those
all of
people
those
feel now?
people.
How do the
You know
Jill
what?
Stein Bernie people
Actually,
feel now?
No. No. I'm not listening. I didn't any of this, so I don't know and I'm trying not to vomit myself.
I had a thought about Whoopi's behind again. I'm sorry.
No, her vajayjay. Get out
of All right, I think I'm okay.
I don't think you have anything left to purge.
This was interesting, a reaction to this, not like the ladies at the View were having. Ladies. Rachel Held Evans, who's a author of sort. When I see conservatives celebrating the quote-unquote millions of lives that will be saved if Roe is overturned, I wonder if they realize a significant percentage of these lives would be in poor communities of color, communities this administration has actively oppressed. Oh, boy. There's a couple of layers to this. Good reaction from Steven Crowder, actually. Thanks for confirming what we've been saying all along. Abortion clinics target communities of color. He's right. Thank you for that concession. We'd love to see millions of lives saved, no matter what the race. The fact that you wouldn't is chilling. Yeah. Conceding the racist nature of the pro-abortion Planned Parenthood and all the pro-abort allies from, here locally, the Ronners, all of them, how racist they are. Yeah. Oh, that will be more black and brown children if abortion was not legal. Great. It's a great opportunity for a moment of clarity on this issue in terms of the mindset of the left on these issues. It's very revealing, and that tweet exchange was very useful. So a hat tip to Steven Crowder on that score.
Oh, we have to take this caller. Jennifer joins us from Palatine. Hi, Jennifer.
Yes, hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah. Hello.
Dan, you're putting out that yes, hello. Yes, you're putting out on the radio that you're single. Well, the problem is you're not going out enough. If you go out with me, I'd be a perfect match for you.
Really?
Half the time, oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Half of what you say I think is very smart and funny. And the other half I think is total nonsense, and I completely ignore. Perfect.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Have you heard the details of my date package number 4?
It involves a machete and some urination. It's really romantic. Jennifer, so what do you do for fun?
What I do for fun? Well, aside from, fight the establishment machine.
Yeah.
And fight the good fight. I'm just a regular, average, relaxing kind of person.
Well, what do you do for fun?
Yeah, like what's an ideal date for you? Like Game of Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
Oh.
But
Arcade?
I do like horror movies, so if you want to go
you can
and,
see
bring those machetes, we could go, do a horror movie pub crawl. But no, I
Sure.
really love Chicago's arts. I love the opera, and I love the Art Institute. I'm an Art Institute member, and I love, so a perfect day would be going out to have some really great food, going to see some sort of really fun cultural event, and then, calling it a night.
Would it be too much if
Do
I
you-
asked
do
you
you
how
like-
tall you are? Do you like late night walks on the beaches and sushi?
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
It's not at the same time, one after the other.
Do you like Civil War reenactments?
How do you feel
where
about furries?
You'll play Robert E. Lee and I'll play George McClellan.
Well, that would have to be the second date.
It is more of a second date event. That's
Okay.
true. The Civil
All right,
War
well,
reenactment.
Yeah.
would you care to exchange digits, or now this is getting uncomfortable?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
You can order anything from this side of the menu. I'll point it out.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Jennifer, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate that.
Could this be another reason why?
She said
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
She said half the stuff I say is nonsense, and she ignores.
Like every good woman.
Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's
There
Morning
is a Civil War reenactment this weekend,
Yes, I do know.
In Lake County.
I do know.
Yeah, big one.
Danny in Mount Prospect is coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hi, Danny.
Hi. Hi, Dan. I want you, even though I'm 30 years your
competition.
senior.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry.
I'm smart and I have some money.
How much money?
And would you like to donate it to a political PAC?
No, well, I have some.
I mean, how
I
much
have
are we
some.
talking about? We'll give you a range.
Is it sugar mama money, or what do we got?
Like FEC disclosure. Give me a range. Is it 6 to 15 million? Is it 17 to 34
All right,
million?
Here's how I'll do it. Since
Yeah.
you are smart and I only argue with maybe 3% of what you say,
Okay.
I'll give it to you. You make the decision. I trust you.
All right. I think we found a match.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the call, Danny. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? 312-642-5600. Call now if you want to go out with Dan. But now we'll take a break because I'm sure we'll be flooded with phone calls. Let's go into the newsroom and catch up with Mike Scott. Hi, Mike.
78 degrees, Dan and Amy. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Blue skies, but a dangerous heat advisory is up beginning at 11 a.m. throughout Chicagoland and northwest Indiana. Man accused of killing 5 yesterday at a Maryland newspaper has been charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Jared Ramos is scheduled for a bail hearing this morning in Annapolis, Maryland, where the shooting took place, and Mayor Gavin Buckley praised law enforcement this morning.
Did not expect something like this to happen in our community, but we were ready, and I don't think we could have put any more resources. It's a tremendous response.
Ramos is accused of opening fire at the offices of the Capital Gazette. Authorities haven't said what they believe the motive was, but Ramos did have a defamation suit against the paper in 2012, and a long-standing feud with the paper was dismissed by a judge. Former President Barack Obama speaking in public for the first time in months. The former president telling Democrats at an L.A. fundraiser last night they have a right to be concerned about what he thinks is the state of America, but did not mention President Trump by name. Canada says they plan to retaliate against President Trump's tariffs on its national birthday this Sunday. Bloomberg says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will mark Canada's 151st birthday by imposing tariffs on over $14 billion worth of U.S. imports. Say goodbye to Toys R Us, the bankrupt toy retailer shutting down all 740 of its stores today. Authorities believe they may have found the vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash last weekend in southwest suburban Oswego that killed a local high school softball coach. A Chicago man is accused of stealing more than $600,000 in an April armored truck heist in Hammond. Akeem Jackson appeared in court yesterday on a charge of Hobbs Act robbery. An investigation continues following a deadly shooting in Hazel Crest. Police say Karad Beasley was found shot Wednesday outside of his vehicle on 170th Street. Cubs beat the Dodgers 11-5 yesterday. Twins outlast the White Sox 2-1 in 13. Cubs begin a series with the Twins at Wrigley Field this afternoon, while the White Sox and Rangers battle in Texas tonight. A 666 leads the way at the Women's PGA Championship. Sung Hyun Park is on top of the leaderboard in Killdeer. 3 others are one shot back. The news, a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, parents, and students visit PCADevZone.org. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher.
The Mike Gallagher Show.
This is the headline at CNN.com. Donald Trump is as popular as he's ever been, parentheses, in one poll. That's the CNN News headline. I've never seen a more biased headline. You know what that one poll is they're referring to? Oh, I don't know, a little organization called Gallup. Oh, my gosh. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee. Roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. Your business's finances are very personal. It's the determining factor on the course you'll take for your family and your employees. But what happens when you're reaching a phase when you need advice? You want to turn to an expert, but who can you trust? Look for someone who is both knowledgeable and involved in the community, like Fred O'Connor of Northwestern Mutual. Fred has worked from Wall Street to Europe in the financial industry, but his calling as an engaged civic leader speaks to the earnest trust Fred has gained over his 30 years serving businesses and the families that run them. Fred serves on the board of the 100 Club of Chicago, the Big Shoulders Fund, and the Irish Fellowship Club. Fred can help you manage risk and plan for your goals, such as rewarding key people and strategies for business exit. Visit FredO'Connor.com to learn more about Fred's services and how he can take your business to the next level. That's FredO'Connor.com. Northwestern Mutual is the marketing name for the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Fred O'Connor is an insurance agent of NM.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844. Hillsdale College forges character and elevates civic discourse both on campus and nationwide. To find out how you can take their free online courses or receive a complimentary subscription to Imprimis, a monthly speech digest, visit hillsdalefreedom.com. That's hillsdalefreedom.com.
8:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Dominic Fortini.
Still pretty slow on the inbound Kennedy. Your stop and go Addison up through Randolph. 38 minutes in from O'Hare. 28 in from the Junction. 25 in the inbound Express. Outbound not looking too bad downtown to Montrose at 10 minutes, but out to O'Hare now 40. That's because of that earlier crash in the center lane at Cumberland. It's been pushed off to the right shoulder. We've got hang-ups back to Lawrence. Inbound side of the Eisenhower, 50 minutes in from Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson on the brakes, Harlem to Kedzie. It's 50 in from 355, 40 in from the Tri-State. Inbound Ryan, double-digit slowdowns begin about 35th, 35 minutes in from 95th. And larger delays on the northbound side of the Tri-State this morning. We've got the biggest bulk of the delay between 87th and the Hinsdale Oasis. Northbound 355 tight from 75th to Maple. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Temperatures will soar at or near 97 today, with the humidity and sunshine causing extreme weather conditions this afternoon. Warm and humid overnight, low 80 and a high near 97 tomorrow. 78 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Part of the discussion with respect to these terrible mass shootings, like the one yesterday at that newspaper office in Annapolis, Maryland, as well as the behavior of what I term the shame mobsters, is the psychology behind it, the thinking behind it. And so I wanted to get an expert on to discuss these issues. And fortunately, we have our friend Theodore Dalrymple, who is one of my favorite thinkers and writers. Those two sometimes not the same. He's a British writer, licensed psychiatrist, worked in the prison system in England for many years. He's written a number of great books. He also is a contributor to the City Journal, which is a great publication, Heather McDonald and others. And he's got a new book out, The Proper Procedure and Other Stories. Pleased to be joined again by Theodore Dalrymple. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Well, let's. I know we've had you on before in the aftermath of these mass shootings. This one calls to mind, of course, Charlie Hebdo a bit, even though the motives seem to be disparate. But the psychology behind the shooters, are there uniform statements we can make, and then kind of how we should respond, thinking about the nature of the profile of the mass shooter?
I don't think there is a definite profile. I mean, as far as I understand it, I've only just seen a very brief report of this latest one in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have been a man of who had some kind of resentment against the newspaper.
Right.
Is that correct? I don't,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Which is very different from the ideological kind of shootings in the Charlie Hebdo case, for example. And the problem with trying to profile people is that however much you profile them, what you will find is there will be false positives and false negatives. By false positives, I mean that you'll find many people who have the same kind of characteristics as people who do actually shoot, but who won't shoot. So for every one who will shoot, you've got 1,000 very similar people who won't. And similarly, you'll have people whom you never suspected might shoot who will shoot. So I don't think actually psychology has got all that much to say as far as preventing these shootings or other forms of mass murder.
But his Twitter page, I mean, his bio read, "Dear reader, I created this page to defend myself. Now I'm suing the blank out of this county and making corpses of corrupt careers and corporate entities." I mean, if you look at his social media,
yes.
I just don't know why people aren't checking this, because he had filed a defamation of character lawsuit against the paper about 7 years ago because they reported on him stalking his ex-girlfriend. And then he had sent letters to the newspaper too, making threats, and then it's on his social media, but nothing was done.
Well, if he utters a specific threat, then something should be done. I mean, well, at least in British law, the doctrine is that if you utter a threat against anyone in particular, then that is a crime. But if you just say, "I could go out and kill someone," or "I hate all companies," or "I hate all newspapers," then there's nothing much you can do about it. So I don't know the particulars in this case, because as I say, I mean, as you know, I'm in France, and I only glanced at a headline, so I don't know much about this case. If he said, "I'm going now to go and shoot people up in the newspaper," and no one did anything about it, that would be bad. But if he just was ranting, there's not a lot you can do, because you've probably got 100 people ranting a day.
I want to switch gears and talk a little bit more about civility in public discourse. This is a big topic in this country this week. I mean, it has been for some time, but it's sort of spiked this week with the White House press secretary being asked to leave a restaurant, and how important that is. You have left-wing activists basically saying that we should dispense with civility because we have to shame Trump administration officials everywhere they are to generate enthusiasm for the resistance, to topple the regime. You know the drill. And I just wonder how you would characterize the importance of civility in our public and political discourse.
Well, I personally think it's extremely important. I'm not sure how you would go around making people more civil, but what I noticed with the changeover from handwritten letters, for example, to electronic means of communication was that if I wrote something with which somebody disagreed, I would get either a civil letter or a letter that disagreeing with me, or a letter that was clearly written by a madman. And you could usually tell those by the envelopes, actually. But after we had, and all the coloured inks and very peculiar writing and so on. But after we got the electronic means of communication, everyone's temper seemed to deteriorate. I don't know whether there were all these resentful people full of hatred who were just waiting for the opportunity to express themselves, or whether the means itself encourages people to express themselves in an aggressive way. I suspect the latter because, first of all, it's immediate. Secondly, it's anonymous. And, I mean, it's an old principle that you shouldn't write in an angry fashion until 24 hours after whatever it is that has made you angry. But now, of course, everyone can communicate immediately. And so I think the temper of everyone seems to have deteriorated to me. But I may be saying this just because I'm an old man and think that everything's deteriorated.
Well, we have some
kids today.
We have some radicalized liberals, and even some that I thought were level-headed liberals that are telling me that they think there's going to be a civil war here in America. Do you feel that that's coming?
Well, I think, yes. I mean, that just seems to me ridiculous. You don't have to be a great admirer of Donald Trump to see that he is not Hitler. But I gather from friends that the comparison is made regularly. And this is absurd, and it's worse than absurd, actually, because it means that people are not making proper distinctions. And so I find this very alarming because it does mean that there's always a fringe of people who are willing to go and do something. And as the general discourse becomes more aggressive and more violent, so more people will be pushed in that direction and feel justified in whatever they do. But I think it's very important for everyone to try and keep their discourse civil. And although I have no problem with offending people by what I say, because if you don't say anything to offend somebody, you haven't said very much. But you shouldn't go out to offend people. And in my view.
And on that score, Andrew Sullivan wrote a piece a couple of months ago that we all live on a college campus now. The idea of some of the intolerance and enforced orthodoxy of opinion on college campuses is not limited to college campuses anymore. And so this piece in the New York Times this week by Brian Van Norden, who's an academic, who was at Vassar for a long time.
Yes.
He goes back and he's sort of dusting off the Frankfurt School, referencing Marcuse and others of that utilitarian disposition, and talking about free speech in this context. You cannot treat ignorant speech the same way you treat intelligent speech, because ignorant speech supports the tyranny of the majority, the passions of the peasants. And so the idea of giving platforms or indulging the likes of, in his estimation, the likes of a Jordan Peterson or an Ann Coulter That's not real free speech. Real free speech is focused on generating audience for the informed, the speaker, the member of the intelligentsia. And this is where elites want to take this country. They know they can't win on saying we're going to restrict free speech, so they say we're going to support enlightened speech to the exclusion of ignorant speech and hope they can enforce their opinion that way.
Yes. Well, of course, ignorance in this instance is in the eye of the beholder, as it were. And it really, it hardly needs me to refute that kind of idea. These are people who are tolerant only of their own ideas, and that doesn't require any tolerance. What people forget, of course, is that tolerance requires that you disapprove of something, because obviously it doesn't take any tolerance to
be in vociferous
to
agreement.
Tolerate what you agree with
Yeah.
or what you approve of. So, in other words, you have to make a judgment in order to be able to be tolerant. Tolerance is not having a saying that everything is equal. It's saying that something is unlikable, but nevertheless I'm prepared to put up with it. So it is rather alarming. And what is alarming about, unfortunately, the most intolerant people are the intellectuals or the intellectual class. And again, although it may seem a small portion of the population, ultimately the atmosphere of the society does depend, I think, on the intellectual class, certainly in modern societies.
With respect to your new book, The Proper Procedure and Other Stories, can you give us a little bit of a preview of some of the stories that you're sharing, the nature of them?
Well, they're mainly dealing with the oppressive or cruel nature of bureaucracy in the modern world. And so for example, the first story, The Proper Procedure, I think it's the first story in the book, but anyway, it's the story that the book is named after, is about an old lady who arrives in hospital with a lot of cash. Her life savings she has in cash. There are old people still in England who have never had a bank account and who deal only in cash and don't have any credit cards and so on. And she comes with the cash. The hospital takes it into its safe, and then will only issue her with a check afterwards. And she decides that it's unsafe for her to have cash, and of course she has no means of negotiating the check. So in effect, she has her money expropriated in the name of safety.
Interesting. Oh, no. Okay. There's good storyteller. Yeah, I like it. Theodore Dalrymple, English writer, psychiatrist. His new book is The Proper Procedure and Other Stories. Theodore Dalrymple, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, it's become a summer tradition, and it's back. It's Rockin' for the Troop, and it's happening on Saturday, July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva. Dan and I will be there. The proceeds will benefit the great work of Operation Support Our Troops America as they provide support for our military men and women and their families. This year, Rockin' for the Troops features Seventh Heaven, Isla Brown. Did I pronounce that right? Your girlfriend? Rocky Lynn. Ayla Brown, Scott Brown's daughter. Rocky Lynn, Ryan Weaver, and The Voices. And right now, we have a pair of tickets for Rockin' for the Troops to give away to caller number
4. I also think it's possible Trey Gowdy and Nick Lachey are going to make an appearance as they try to get 98 Degrees back together.
Caller number 4, 312-733-6993. That's 312-733-6993. Caller number 4 will win a pair of tickets to Rockin' for the Troops. You can also purchase tickets for just $25 at the box office at Northwestern Medicine Field, or go online to rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
What I suffer from is anxiety, along with depression. But I feel the anxiety triggers depression more times than not. My first experience with HPR was my initial interview. It was welcoming. It felt very good. I saw results pretty much immediately. Even after my first treatment, I felt different than when I came in. I think HPR could work for pretty much anyone. I think that what HPR has done for me was awaken a part of my brain that either stopped working or never worked. I think everybody can benefit from HPR. I'm Alex, and HPR Treatments has helped save my life.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
Did you know that your sump pump is the heart of your basement waterproofing system? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Do you know how many sump pumps fail? That's right, all of them. It isn't a matter of if, but rather when your pump will fail. Unfortunately, you may not realize there's a problem until your basement is flooded and you've incurred thousands of dollars in damages. At Permaseal, we make it easy to have your sump system evaluated and a reliable pump and battery backup system installed. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free inspection. We've received many calls from happy customers whose basement and belongings were protected during this past rainy season. But don't take our word for it. Check out our reviews with the Better Business Bureau. You'll see that many of your friends and neighbors are part of the Permaseal family. Get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement and a healthy home. You know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Best for being better, Permaseal. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you, my dear.
America is falling in love with Mr. Rogers again. Entertainment Weekly raves. It's the movie we need right now.
Fred's theology was love your neighbor and love yourself. It was a communication right into their hearts.
Mr. Rogers' faith has inspired us all.
Thank you for whatever you do to bring joy and faith to our world today.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now in theaters everywhere.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
We're back on the radio and getting bigger than ever.
We're the #1 Lincoln dealer in town.
And Chicagoland's first ever Ford Lincoln Superstore, too.
Folks like our great deals, for sure.
Just yesterday, I got attacked by the paparazzi.
Really?
But I think the groupies are the worst.
Groupies?
All the Highland Park groupies we have.
Sure. Right, Al.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Well, I have groupies.
A rich fantasy life is important.
This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, we've been replaced.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Amy.
Thanks for making us part of your work week.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
All right, give it a round of applause to our stunt doubles. Yeah, very nice.
Aaron and Ryan, they're here with their parents. They won the tour here to visit us this morning on AM 560, and then we're going to have a little reception.
And they're Mount Prospectians.
No, people from Mount Prospect. We call it Pleasantville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks also to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, Quinn McCarthy, our associate producer, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer.
All right. We may have the stunt doubles do the show Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we can have a long
Thanks
weekend.
so much, Aaron. And, of course, your brother. We'll see you back here Monday, 5 a.m. Here's Mike Scott.
Dangerous heat hit Chicagoland this weekend. Brazil's mother reunited with her son here in Chicago. Cubs crushed the Dodgers. Well, the Twins topped the White Sox. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.